Anti-derivative Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Greetings and felicitations.
See, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 102, where I'm continuing a special journey through all of the episodes of Star Trek, the original series. We're watching in production order, so we're on the Savage Curtain now, which is the 77th episode, and that means we only have 3 more episodes to go.
Oh boy.
Including this one. And this, of course, is the episode in which we remember themes from other Star Trek episodes in a interesting way. It's a bit like a compilation of a lot of really good Trek. And Abe Lincoln is here. So if you enjoy Star Trek, science fiction in general, and you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm close to 700. Otherwise, please like and share if you want to think more about Saraka Vulcan trying to make peace with evil.
Spread the word,
and before
everybody.
We get into the episode, oh yes, thank you, Pop Culture Curator. I want to say hello to my wonderful panel and say hello to Pop Culture Curator, who's been with me since the beginning of my channel. How are you today?
I am blessed, able to be here. Could not ask for any more. Thank you. I feel honored. I really appreciate it. And hello to everyone on the panel, and especially all the amazing, wonderful people in the chat.
Well, of course, and this is monumental because we've made it through so much of Star Trek, and it's tough to say goodbye to such a great
I know
series, but that doesn't mean I don't want to quit talking about Star Trek. I'm still going to make up excuses to have more TOS shows in the future. So, how are you doing, Scotty R37?
Oh, I'm great. This is fantastic, as long as you ignore the last 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is because this episode is written by 2 different people, and it really shows in terms of, you know, how really great of a start it has. The first half written by Gene Roddenberry, and then the other half Arthur Hindman tries to put it all together. He does his best, though, and so that's all I could really ask for. And hello to Jim, known today as Admiral Duke Shepard. How are you, Admiral?
I got butched. God dang.
Yay.
I got butched. Look at that. Clean butch. Even wearing a wireless, headset today. So hopefully we're sounding pretty damn good.
You sound great.
Look different?
Thank you.
Do I look different? Everyone says you look 10 years younger.
You do.
You look less like you're from you look less like you're from the North Pole.
That's
My
okay.
computer crashed. My computer crashed because it's too much good looking.
Oh no.
and welcome to Mikey, Sue's 4.
Hi guys.
How are you doing today?
Mikey.
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you so much, Miss Jill, for allowing me to be a part of this special panel, this elite panel I've been watching on your lunch combinations. This is one of my all-time favorite episodes. This is in my top 5 easily of all the TOSs.
That's what you said, and that's why I sent you the link, because you said this is one of your favorites, and it's pretty special for somebody to put a season 3 episode in their top 10. Let alone top 5.
It truly is. Yeah, it truly is, because the actor who plays Lincoln I remember that he had done a number of past episodes on, like, the Western, like Bonanzas, Big Valley, things like that. And for him to be Abe Lincoln before Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln later on in the 2000s in the movie, which I thought was a great one too. I thought this had to be one of the best depiction of Abraham Lincoln I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
And
it's really good. And his name is Lee Berger. Okay, so how do I say this? Lee
Berger?
Berger? Oh, I
don't
should have
know.
looked this up before.
Born in
Spell
Brooklyn.
it for me. Spell it for me, Jill. I could pronounce it for you.
Bergier.
And I'm just going to
Is
look
it
it up.
Berger? Is it Berger?
R-E.
Berger, yeah.
Lee Berger. Yeah. He's French. Yeah.
Well, he's born in Brooklyn.
Which you
Berger.
wouldn't be able to tell. Well, you wouldn't be able to tell from his accent the way that he mimics Lincoln speech. But
Yes.
he is,
But we'll get more into that in a little bit. I also want to say hello to Stone Racket. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Hello,
you for
Stone
having
Racket.
me. Hello, Mikey. And where's the cat? I see clouds on the horizon.
well, we have a storm coming up today.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I just go with storm clouds.
Yeah, but Jill, I want to offer my solution. It was Colonel Green in the library with the lead pipe.
Well, that's fair enough because he often tries to sneak up on you and pretend he's negotiating with you. And then he hits you with the lead
backstabber.
pipe. He is.
Colonel Green, who's dressed in red.
Damn right.
Damn writers.
Cognitive dissonance there.
Yeah.
Reference to production of these episodes includes Star Trek 365, which I learned about from Raquel Briggs, who reviews all of real Star Trek from 66 to 05 with the Clobberin Times on his channel on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. We're just starting season 6 of Voyager, so that's exciting. Just a couple more seasons
that's
of that.
exciting, yes.
And then we'll get into Enterprise. And
Yay.
then I will also make some references from These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman, because he has some amazing backstage material in there. Any other references I make, I'll try to cite.
Well, that'd
Even
be
though
cool.
my slides go in order, I don't mind if you want to talk about different parts of the episode. To help with that, I'll read the preview for the Savage Curtain. As the Enterprise surveys the planet Excalibur, someone or something on the planet also is scanning the Enterprise. Not long after, an extremely lifelike manifestation of Abraham Lincoln appears in space, asking to be beamed aboard. This facsimile of the former president has been sent by the inhabitants of Excalibur with an invitation to visit the planet. There, Kirk, Spock, and Lincoln encounter a rock-like creature that wishes to learn about human concepts of good and evil. The Enterprise duo, plus the ersatz Lincoln and a facsimile of Surak, the father of Vulcan philosophy, representing good, are pitted against the likenesses of Genghis Khan, the Klingon Kahless, criminal scientist Zora, and Colonel Green, the despotic leader of a genocidal war. And if Kirk and Spock choose not to participate, the Excalibur tells them the Enterprise will be destroyed. And so thank you for listening in today. I hope you enjoy our take on this episode. This is a season 3 episode. I've been saying over and over every time we start these season 3 episodes, I don't even remember this damn episode. This is one that is not forgettable. And I do remember it. I do remember the first time watching this episode and just laughing and laughing like, how the hell is Lincoln? But then when Lincoln steps aboard, I'm like, oh, okay. Why not?
Yeah, I thought for sure that when I saw this episode for the first time, I remembered Space Seed, and I said, okay, Khan had came from the eugenics wars and things that were happening. So then when you have Colonel Green that shows up, you're like, okay, but they're saying he came from a different dark part of Earth's history. I thought he might have came from the same or close enough century that Khan came from.
And he came just a little bit later, the 21st century, Con came from the 1990s, so the 20th century. So they're just a little bit separated, but a part of the same era. And so I'm supposing that this is how they figure out that first contact happens a little bit later in the 21st century. Must be after the effects of Colonel Green and everybody else.
Yeah, just after.
Who caused all of the World War III. Right. Must have been a really long war. But
I guess so.
Hey, panel. We are in the 21st century.
We are.
The mind boggles.
Yes, and just a little plug for Friday. We're continuing our love of Star Trek by talking about First Contact, which in Star Trek lore occurs on April 5th,
2063. Yeah.
Yes, 2063. That's correct. The 21st century. So it'll be pretty soon that we meet the Vulcans. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be so cool. Yeah.
And I gotta say, before we begin, I'll have to say hello to the chat. Eugene Bird says Uhura is sexy and classy. I wondered if they considered Kennedy instead of Lincoln. Maybe they did, but that might be hitting a little too close to home. Yes, might have been too soon. Exactly. And this was a strange episode, says the Outcast Creative. And yeah, it was. It's a product of season 3. The throes of the creator saying, "Hey, remember me? I know Star Trek. Look at this."
I have to say, it was a unique episode. Seeing that you're looking at someone that I studied about in high school. I studied American history, and here I am watching Abe Lincoln walking on board the Enterprise. I'm like, whoa, the guy who was in charge of the Civil War. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, sure. I was in college when I first watched Star Trek, so I might have been studying the same things.
I bet you were.
At the same time watching this episode. Franco Walker says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat, which is always good to remember. Edge of Time is here saying, bring on the spectacle. And that's what the episode should have been about, but we'll get into more of that in just a little bit. And also, he's quoting...
Is Edge of Time clicking his claws? Bring on. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, he is. I think so. And then Edge of Time quotes from Rick and Morty, although we don't talk about Rick and Morty for some reason. Abra Dolph Linkler did nothing wrong. So that's like a Tuvix that's kind of in Rick and Morty, a merging of Abraham Lincoln and Hitler. It's kind of weird. Anyway, like the whole show. But
yeah, I was just going to say, it's kind of weird like this episode.
And also there's Mikey Sees4 who's in the channel.
He's here. He's here right next to me.
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
He's not just an image. He's really here.
I am really here. I'm so happy to be here too. I'm
Eugene
really blessed.
Says, in earlier episodes, Kirk would say stuff like, have the Federation spray down this planet with deadly radiation.
Yeah, let's radiate the planet. Kill everything.
Damn rock creatures.
They would usually say, if they were hostile. Yeah.
Well, he was ready just to leave. He was like, oh, this place is poisonous. Let's get out of here. Mikey says, after World War III, we might have to learn Russian or Mandarin Chinese. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Never.
Never. Curators here.
And Pop's here on the panel too. Hello, Pop.
Yes, good to see Pop. Yeah, always good to see him. And
And Mikey says, Devil in the Dark. Now, there was a deadly mama rock. And yeah, and this rock we get to, talk to.
Yeah.
And so this rock creature is also silicon.
Yes.
Silicon based. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he has blinky lights for eyes.
Yeah, but those claws.
Those
somebody mentioned that about his claws. I'm like, how does a rock grow claws like that? That reminded me sort of like a, what do you call it? The Wolverine.
It's an alien. It's an alien.
Yeah. Totally.
Bird of Prey 5.
Bird of Prey 5 says Kapla. And DJ Play Nice says, passing through to say, hey, and bump the algorithm. Everyone have an awesome day. You too, DJ Play Nice.
DJ is awesome.
And so is Penny. Penny's also
Hey,
Penny
hi,
is
Penny.
also
Hey,
awesome.
Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Hello, Penny. Hope you're doing well.
as well as Classic Comics, Renee Salinas. What's poppin'?
Renee's
Hello,
new.
everyone.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Just chillaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chillax.
You see
Booger.
who's here? Booger is here. Grishnak. I love when he thinks it. Taggart thinks it's just the pig, and he's like, "Oh, this is fine." The pig was just the bait,
And
Nice.
exploded.
and it exploded. And it exploded.
Always thought turkeys could fly.
So, The Savage Curtain first aired on March 7th, 1969. The story by credit goes to Gene Roddenberry. Half the script was written by him, while the other half was written by Arthur Heinemann, who also wrote Wink of an Eye and Wade Eden. And given those episodes, I have to admire what he tried here. He tried his best. And so, given the handicaps he already has from writing episodes like that, I think his heart was in the right place.
Well, it was
You
in the
can
right
read.
place, but personally, I think that Roddenberry should have finished the episode.
I think so too.
right
I
now.
think so too, and I'm not sure why he didn't. The Cushman book doesn't exactly say why he gave up on it. And
I can tell you why.
says I am like number one. Oh wow, that must be on. Oh, that's on the Rumble side. Thank you so much, AFS.
I can
Hey,
tell you
Rumblers.
why Roddenberry abandoned the script. He's too busy getting pretty maids all in a row ready over at MGM.
You
Finally,
know,
I'm not the
you
first one
might
to bring
be
it
right,
up.
but that
When did
sounds
Pretty
right.
Maids?
That sounds about right.
Pretty Maids came out in like 1971 or 1972, right?
Yes.
Cool. Just checking. No, that makes
Yeah,
sense. He's
70.
quoting Rock Hudson at this point. Telly
Yeah.
Savalas is his best friend.
Yeah, he had already moved his office over to MGM, and so he just gave up on this particular episode, as well as
Turnabout Intruder.
Turnabout Intruder, if I recall the book, the Cushman
Yes.
book correctly.
That's correct.
Well, then he. This was like we all said. This was like the first one where this first script where he gave up halfway through. He did give up half, or actually gave up completely on the final 3 episodes, including the Turnabout one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my biggest crime here is missing the slide where McCoy says poppycock.
Oh, poppycock.
Poppycock.
At the idea that there's any life on this planet because it's all lava and
Damn it,
definitely not suitable for life. The
Well, and-
atmosphere is poisonous. Yes.
I love the spirit of McCoy in this episode just because, like, even Kirk says, you know what? Calm down. Like, obviously that McCoy was correct in the first place, but risk is our business, yo. So
Risk is our business. That is in this episode. Yes. That
and
too. So
I enjoy the way McCoy responds to Kirk and their friendship, their adversarial nature, still doing their jobs.
still
great.
doing their jobs. And the kind of fun thing about this, which I wish they would have figured out before, was having Scotty kind of be a backup for McCoy, saying, yeah, this is kind of ridiculous.
Oh, in terms of what? Yeah, I thought that was great.
Mhm.
But we've seen that before, though.
Oh, we have. Okay.
From one
well, that's
doctor
good.
to another.
I just wanted more than we got.
Yeah, it was done better in this episode, I thought, than Return to Tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I agree with Cushman on that aspect.
Oh, for sure.
That scene, I love that scene in Return to Tomorrow. So I don't know if I agree with Cushman, but I think they're both
Well,
good.
as far as
I
Kirk-
think it's good to remind.
Yeah, as far as
Everybody.
Kirk, his speech, that's why we remember it.
Mhm. Exactly.
And the one thing that I thought was really wonderful, and I want to mention this before we get to that scene, when he welcomed Abraham Lincoln on board with full military honors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they dressed to the
Presidential.
9 for this guy.
Presidential honors.
Presidential.
honors.
Yeah.
Yes,
Except the 2 security guys kept pointing their phasers at him.
We didn't say which president.
I'm
You know
gonna
that-
shoot you,
Nail
man.
it.
How
Yeah.
shocking for
Well-
Abraham
well-
Lincoln to be resurrected and then brought onto a bridge. And the thing that killed him, 2 guys this time. The first time it was only 1 guy from behind. Now he's got 2 just pointing them. He was
Well, he
very
explains
calm.
why that is because he's playing along, and also because this is a representation of his hero, but he knows this isn't the real Lincoln, and that's why we have the phasers.
Agreed.
Security alert.
So this episode was directed by Herschel Dougherty, and he worked on Alfred Hitchcock Presents and
Did
Wagon
you say
Train.
Alfred Hedgehog?
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
If I said
There it is.
hedgehog, if I said hedgehog, then
Alfred Hedgehog. Yes,
Thriller?
I knew him well.
He was kind of sonic.
the Pepsi Cola Playhouse and General Electric Theater.
And don't forget Thriller with Boris Karloff.
Ooh,
Yes.
Okay. Nice. And then, of course, he is coming. He also directed Operation Annihilate in Star Trek's first season. So it's really cool that we have a returning director because I've just been seeing brand new ones.
No pancake
season.
creatures in this one. We got a rock.
Well, yeah, I do
And
like.
that's a good question by Booker.
I
He
do
says
like
he
that.
doesn't remember if they played "Hail to the Chief" when he was, beamed on board. No, they did play it. I can't get the whole thing, but it was just like you said presidential acknowledgement, and they had the a whistle that came from the sound.
Yeah,
to-
like when you're announcing the captain on the bridge, it's kind of just
Like the boatswain.
a similar honor.
Kind of like
yes.
that. Yes. Yeah.
Hail to the chief, I think what they played.
No, I don't know what the piece
No?
of music is. I'm hoping somebody else does.
Yeah, it wasn't Hail to the
Yeah,
Chief.
it wasn't
that's-
Hail to the Chief.
still
No, it
pretty-
wasn't.
But I do have a
Yeah.
question. I do have a
Yes.
question because they say that the only time you hear the Federation anthem is in Take Me Out to the Holosuite on Deep Space Nine. I'm wondering if there is any association to this presidential honor music. I don't know. I didn't have time to look it up because I thought of it right now.
I don't think so because the Deep Space Nine Federation theme is so boring, and this was good. So the
It was
anthem
pretty
that
good.
plays as Lincoln's beamed aboard was composed by Desilu's music director Wilbur Hatch. It's the last original piece of music ever made for the series.
Oh, nice.
And so
I
that's
remember
what we
Wilbur
did.
Hatch. I remember Wilbur Hatch did I Love Lucy.
He did.
Mhm.
Good call, Pop. Yes. He did a lot of
And-
episodes of I Love Lucy, in fact.
Oh yeah, he
And-
was the Stark music coordinator for Desilu Studios. So yeah,
Oh.
he was involved. He had his hands in a lot of music productions.
Hey,
Oh,
Pop.
good to know.
So,
Well, he does a good job.
so Pop, did he do the theme to the Lucy? I Love
Definitely.
Lucy. Da 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 da. Oh, sorry.
As Wilbur Hatch and his orchestra, as Akaz has said.
Yeah.
He
That's
even
right.
played in the show many times.
Oh,
Because
cool.
Ricky's band, quote, Ricky's band
Uh-huh.
played a significant role in that show. And Wilbur Hatch was frequently highlighted. He
Cool.
in the background, but he was there.
A
So
deep
much pop for
probe,
that.
incredibly
And-
swift.
Yeah, so yeah,
Where's-
that's what happens.
Where's
here.
Matt G when you need him?
Yeah.
Imagine.
That's
Oh,
what she
Klingons
said.
don't like to be probed. I had feelings for this episode that I haven't felt since season 2, and of course I do believe it's because of what Gene put into the script and put in some very important tenets of Star Trek in it. Even if some of them were repeating, even if we're revisiting things, in this last half of the third season, where it seems like all of those elements of Star Trek are kind of pushed to the wayside due to all the original creators having quit, it is so good to see these topics brought up again. And I get to see everybody behaving as they should. And Scotty likes to say we have all hands on deck and stuff. And so this is the last time that we can even say that. And so
It's interesting. We see Sulu in the captain's chair when it should be Uhura, but it's cool to see Sulu in the captain's chair.
it's true. According to the writer's guide, Uhura
Uh-huh.
should have been in the captain's
Yeah.
chair. Anytime you see Sulu, it should be her. She
But it's
should be
cool
there.
to see Sulu there.
It is. It's still cool
Yeah,
to see him
it's
there.
still cool.
I'm not against him being there.
Yeah,
This-
neither am I.
this episode-
Oh,
And
and Jill, what's
this
on the
is
viewing
the-
screen?
Yeah.
This
What
is
could
all
this
This is
possibly
the
be?
remastered, right? This is the
this is
the
the
CGI.
remastered.
Yeah, the
Yes.
CGI episode. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And if you want to see the comparison, I can show you just a second. Okay. So there's the remaster, and I have the difference
The comparison.
comparison right
Yeah.
here. And so here's the planet differences. This is the remaster, and this is the original.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look
what's-
different.
I don't remember the CW in the corner when I watched it on 69.
Well, somebody grabbed the remaster slides from
Didn't change much.
CW.
From CW, yeah, from the CW, yes.
Christopher
Anyhow,
Walken.
this episode evolved from Gene Roddenberry's March 1964 series proposal called Star Trek Is, and it was called Mr. Socrates. So this was one of his original ideas for a Star Trek episode.
I like it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mr. Socrates?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was
Socrates.
supposed to be Socrates instead of
Yeah,
Lincoln.
Socrates was supposed to appear on the screen and then joined by Lincoln in the
Huh.
original concept.
Oh, we're
and,
supposed to have both.
Yeah,
There we go.
First
I-
Socrates, and then Lincoln, joined by Lincoln on the viewing screen. Yeah,
I
But I
love
still-
looking. I love looking for the Gene Roddenberry in every episode because Gene Roddenberry essentially only has 3 stories, and one of them is omnipotent God being that can be anywhere because it wants.
Yeah,
It has to be benevolent, but it should be there or not benevolent because then you get.
But
kids.
that's a huge part of Star Trek because of that. And
Yeah,
here we
yeah.
see it again, and we see all sorts of. Well, we have lots of Star Trek stories in this one.
Well, we've already
Oh, for
seen.
sure.
I was thinking the reason they didn't go with the Socrates plan was because they already had the Apollo, right? Who mourns for Adonai. So
Yes.
I'm assuming maybe when they had the Apollo episode, maybe that's why they decided just to, push aside the Socrates idea. It's just a thought.
and
Well, I'm also
another.
thinking of the Metrons from Arena.
Yes, the Metrons too. Yes.
We are the Metrons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so it does seem a little absurd that Lincoln is just sitting out there in his chair in space. So,
But
But
it's unforgettable, Jill.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
It's like Abe Lincoln in space in a chair.
but Apollo is how I get around it. It's like his giant hand is out there. It's able to grab the ship, but it's not really his hand. It's a force that he's able to project outward. So this is just a projection of Lincoln, and Lincoln is actually on the surface of the planet. Is how I get around it in terms
Right.
of
Right.
how I
Right.
see-
Exactly.
it's the same thing.
And then
Well, Paul, Jill, you can sort of back me up on this one, and I'm curious if, like, does this episode remind you of like the animated series?
And
This
maybe.
seems like
Well,
an animated series.
hey, we are
episode to
meeting
me.
the devil,
Exactly. Here's Quetzalcoatl.
but it's not really the devil, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. It's it just gave me echoes of that, and I was really into it. I can't wait until I stop because the last 10 minutes, wow.
Well, yeah, I can understand that it's not perfect. It isn't. But
But it's
Roddenberry
doing
had
such a good
Rod-
job right now.
but Roddenberry had something that would have made everything a little bit more meaningful. He wanted this episode to be more about the prevalence of violence on television, and it's something that we saw a little bit of in Bread and Circuses, but he wanted to expand on it a little more in terms of his feelings on that. And
Well-
and just know that aspect of this episode was completely nerfed by Freddie Freiberger. So I guess he just didn't want to vilify network executives because he's in their court or something. I don't know.
He's the
This could have
60s
been-
Kurtzman.
There was a-
well, no, Freddie Freiberger is not that bad, but he's
Okay,
pretty
okay.
bad. He didn't. At least
I'm
he
sorry.
didn't hate. I don't think he hated Star Trek. I just think he was like, I'm here to do a job, and that's makes this science fiction show with the least amount of
I-
money possible. And I don't care, how you guys do it. Just do it and make sure it's the producer. Like
Hey,
he
Jill.
cares about the anyway.
Yeah,
Jill.
I
but
don't
you
think
do
he's quite as bad as Kurtzman.
Jill.
right,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you do see some of Fred Freiberger's handprints in it, and you know that he's tolerating. He's not hating, but he's tolerating
Yeah.
the material in the source material that it's coming from. And he's saying, "Oh, okay, I guess we should do that." So yeah. Sorry, I'm having a fire alarm.
Okay, so Booker 414 says
I hope
we
you're
learned
okay.
from Bill and Ted. Socrates is spelled Socrates. Yeah.
Socrates.
Yeah. So if you
That's
do
'cause he's
have,
so great.
if this is an emergency, Mikey, don't be afraid to just exit the house if your house is on fire. We will understand.
No,
Roof.
it's
The
just
roof.
they're
The
testing
roof
today,
is
so it's
on
okay.
fire.
But if they come online, I'll make sure I mute myself. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. But I think this idea, I think removing this idea is what diminishes the episode a little bit, because this could have been like that episode of South Park where it turns out the aliens created Earth for their own reality TV show and decided it was time to cancel Earth because the program just, it was just repeating itself. I'm not sure what would have happened if Gene were able to provide the full script, or why he only got through writing half. Stone Rocket says because he wanted to go write his softcore.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. It's a
I was
comedy.
going to
It's a
say,
comedy. I still haven't seen it.
I was going to say, Jill,
I haven't seen 30 minutes.
I didn't get through the whole chapter in Mark Cushman's book, but in the first part of the chapter on Savage Curtain, it talks about a character that Roddenberry had. It was a echo of the Flower Children from the late 60s. And it was a kind of a space hippie named Pawn, not short for Pon Far, but but it was, that was basically it was basically what?
Oh, you're adding an extra O, Scotty.
No, Pon.
No, I was just
P-O-N.
my mistake.
You're just being goofy.
Yeah. Not short for Pon Far, of course, but no. But anyway, the hippie character wants, to negotiate and everything's, peaceful and everything, and so that was taken over by
Serac.
by Serac, yeah, and I just thought that was kind of interesting that did the Cushman book specify who took out the hippie character?
I don't know why it was taken out, but we just saw the way to eat, and so I'm kind of tired of hippies.
Yeah, that's my point. Was enough with the space hippies.
We reach.
Can
no.
We had the perfect hippie episode a long time ago when we had the episode This Side of Paradise. We didn't need it again.
Yeah, that's one of my top favorites, This Side of Paradise.
And now that's cool. That's what Kirk says. Phaser sidearms and be prepared to give presidential honors. I love that. I love that.
And Booger 414 remembers.
Booger.
Yeah, so he remembers.
Pan-dimensional nice. It's such a good time to see you every time, just because every time you chat, I get to say Booger.
Yeah,
Booger remembers Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right.
Yes. By Earth was created by pan-dimensional mice to finish the computer project. Started by Deep Thought, so you could figure out why the answer is 42.
The number in the universe.
What's the question?
How many roads has a
42.
man walked down? That's the question.
Yeah.
Using a Vulcan instead of a hippie showed more about the Federation diversity. Yeah, exactly. I love that aspect.
Well,
Barry Atwater is another reason I like this episode. He's just superb, like the actor who portrays Lincoln.
Yes.
Well, can you imagine a hippie at that
television
time?
career?
Yeah, Barry Atwater. He's a vampire in the Night Stalker.
Oh well, dude.
Actually, that was a different movie written by Richard Matheson. That's the one where he had the clay. He was killing people and he was using their blood to make clay. The Anderson tape.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Night Stalker television movie. Barry Atwater played.
Oh yeah, the original pilot.
Original
Right.
pilot film, yeah. Or the
There we go.
original movie.
Sorry.
What were you talking about, Pop?
Go ahead, Bob.
He played in another movie that was a Dan Curtis movie that was written by Richard Matheson.
And what was that called?
I believe it was the Anderson tapes. Let's look it up.
Norliss tapes. The Norliss tapes.
That's it. Right?
The Norliss tapes, yeah.
Yeah, with Roy
NORLISS.
Thinnis. Yeah.
I remember that.
Roy Thinnis and Angie Dickinson.
Right. And then Barry Atwater was attacked by a space rock.
Oh, more
and the Outer Limits. Corpus Earthling.
And he was also in the magnificent episode. There's a monster. The monsters are due on Maple Street from the Twilight Zone.
From the Twilight Zone. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Now this is a great line by Scotty where it says, "For the rest, presidential honors. What is all this nonsense?"
And this is the last time we get to see everybody in dress uniforms. So I'm glad that we did a full dress. It's like a bit of a celebration here.
And everybody, a kilt is not a dress.
Or skirt.
Thank you for clarifying, Stone Rocket.
Yes, that European Union tried to call it a dress, and the Scots weren't going to have it. Any of it.
I certainly didn't have it.
Well, and my wife is full Scots, so she wouldn't have it either.
That's
she would say it's not a dress.
It's considered an insult when people say that.
Yeah,
right.
It's a kilt. It's a kilt.
It's a kilt.
There's a name for it, and so use it. So another moment that McCoy that was in the early draft was that McCoy was supposed to beam down and materialize into the space that was occupied by one of the aliens, and so this was actually supposed to be the first merging of an alien species with another species, resulting in McCoy being part of the alien creature, kind of like Tuvix, but McCoy and this rock creature. So he would be half human, half something else, half wanting to help and half wanting not to help. So that might have been interesting. That would have been a way to bring McCoy on the planet. I don't know how that would have worked out.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked. Yeah.
I think it would have been interesting in terms of echoing. Sorry, Mikey. I just wanted to interject about what McCoy would be able to do. And
I didn't interrupt. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
That was just that would have been an interesting choice. Like you remember in City on the Edge of Forever when sort of DeForest Kelley has that duality between madman and then when he is relieved of the effects of the
murderers, assassins.
Yeah. And then when he was rested again and more conversational with Edith Keeler, like that would have been an interesting acting challenge for DeForest Kelley, and that would have been cool.
Oh, he would have killed it. It would have been really great. I think so too. So
where's Robert the Bruce?
Yeah, Robert the Bruce or Louis of France.
I'm glad he didn't say Rod Stewart.
Bill, is this the last time that they actually all dress up like this to the nines?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. As mentioned.
Yes.
It's nice that they still had the budget to have those dress uniforms.
Yes, this is one episode where they went a bit over budget, but it was okay because Freddie had saved so much money before.
Well, most of those costumes were pre-existing anyway, right? They'd been used in previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine you got to make sure it fits right and everything.
Well, and I
especially
remember
on Shatner because he's got a bit of a pot belly.
Oh, you gotta just give him a girdle.
Girdle.
Well, I remember that when I'm sorry. No, I was saying that I remember when Chris Doohan later did the fan series Star Trek Continues. He said that his father, when he wore the kilt in this episode, he said it fit him perfectly, form-fitting. In fact, he
that
took
is
the
so
kilt
nice.
with him after the series ended.
Well, and after I review TOS, I will be reviewing Continues, but I want to hear what Pop had to say that about the uniforms or about something.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead. I was just saying that Jimmy Doohan was gradually gaining weight as well. I know William Shatner was, but so was Jimmy Doohan.
I didn't even notice that because we're so distracted by Shatner. So in a way, these aliens were supposed to be seen as couch potatoes, like in the cage, but it didn't. They just ripped it out of the story. Why did you do that?
I forget who said it in the chat, but I think, it was Edge of Time who was here, or it probably still is. And he said, all right, which one of you guys painted the transporter room periwinkle?
It is purple. It's purple.
Yeah, it's those crazy gels on the lights. What are they thinking?
Well, it does sort of. Well, and that's why I'm asking: is it gels on the lights, or is it the fact that like they had painted this as a set for another planet at one point, and they were like, "What color? Who cares what color the walls are?" And it's like, but the walls are never this color. And maybe this was on the floating city, and they were like, "We're just not going to paint it. We don't have the money."
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Kyle was just standing around. He got bored.
It was Easter, okay?
So we're going to be aboard.
Yeah, aboard. That's like I said, when Scotty said it, I thought that was a little bit insulting. Like, you could just say it. Let's beam Lincoln aboard, not it. Yes, I agree there.
Yeah, he doesn't recognize Lincoln as Lincoln.
Obviously.
Do you have
but Lincoln thinks he's Lincoln.
Jill, do you have the clip with what Spock first detected before they beamed Lincoln on board?
Why is everything that we don't understand called a thing?
Okay, so for a moment appeared almost mineral, like living rock with heavy foreclaws. It's settling down now to completely human readings. I didn't get a chance to clip, but I can find any quote you need on the
it's just remember this is a rock creature with claws, not Abraham Lincoln. Like the Yarnik really didn't move around much, but maybe he's the worst of the couch potatoes.
Stone Racket, you have just become my best friend of this episode simply because you said Yarnek's name out loud. He is not the Excalibur. He is Yarnek.
He's Yarnek.
Yarnek. Yes.
And I keep on wanting to say instead of Excalibur, I keep wanting to say Excalibur.
Yes,
I do too. It's obvious. It's an obvious thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes Gene is a little heavy-handed with the analogies, and usually
it's almost as bad as
unobtainium. It's
not as bad as that.
Usually what happens is Gene L. Coon and Dorothy Fontana are like, hey, what is this? We're going to show you. But they're not here to help.
Indeed, they are not.
To explain, yeah.
Lee Berger played Abraham Lincoln, obviously. He had a 4-decade career, 200 roles in film and television.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot. Yeah, Lee Berger, yes. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that he was on my 2 favorite television shows. He was on Star Trek, and he was the WPIG mascot on WKRP. So this man is a legend.
Yes.
Oh, he was the guy in the pig mascot outfit.
I would also like to add that he was in the sequel series of WKRP. What was it called? The new WKRP in Cincinnati. How could I forget the title?
Generation.
Exactly.
The Next Generation.
And he played the same character.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, he played
excellent.
Pig. Well, the unfortunate thing is that the last role in his career was playing a character named Pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
You want him to be an Excalibur.
Yeah.
Well, everybody is surprised
or
to see
Lincoln.
Lincoln aboard.
They are. Sorry, I get excited.
I forgot one thing is that he says the thing about the minutes, and I think that's kind of silly. So we can convert to minutes, but minutes have been mentioned in Star Trek throughout lots of the episodes. Minutes, seconds, hours are absolutely what the crew uses to measure time.
Yeah,
even
Baylock
Wait a minute, one at a time, guys.
I'm sorry.
I don't know who started.
Remember,
Even-
Baylock is the first alien to explain
Yes.
minutes to the crew of the Enterprise.
There you go. Corbomite maneuver is
You
the
got
first
it.
time we know this is our measuring
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, and then Jill, I was saying that Lee Bergera, I just looked him up. He did pass away at the age of 88 in 2007. But in
Oh.
World War II, he supervised entertainment activities for the soldiers that fought over in North Africa.
Oh, well, that's good work of him to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Scotty,
Oh, for sure.
what were you saying?
I was echoing what Stone Racket had said.
Oh, perfect. Then that
Mhm.
works out for us.
Yeah.
And so where was I in the... I got my notes mixed up just a bit.
Crewman blows whistle.
Crewman blows whistle, yes.
Drum roll
yes, because
and
he's
oh,
getting
sorry.
fanfare. Yeah, because he's
Whose
getting
whistle?
fanfare for...
Yeah.
And Lincoln wants to know where the musicians are. I don't understand music on tape. Because he's Lincoln.
Oh, you mean where they
Or
go?
he thinks he's Lincoln.
Yeah, right.
So what is he doing? What's Kirk doing right now? He is very aware of the fact that this is not Abraham Lincoln. He makes a log entry saying it is unlikely, but I would love to meet whatever this is. So, like, what is this? What is his gambit? Is this his interpretation of first contact from the Excalbians?
In the original idea, there are some Excalbians that kind of have given up, and they are part of the play or part of the exploration, and they use theater to learn about alien life forms. And some of the Excalbians are just simply actors.
So are they ripping off, like, almost to a certain extent, Plato's stepchildren, where it's like, oh, we don't want to be, or when Alexander specifically as a character who was brilliant, best part of that episode, is like,
Yes.
now we have a whole race. Now, oh no, we're the rebels, which is echoes of the Cloud Minders. Oh my stars, this is such a collage.
Yeah,
It
is a collage.
It's a compilation of a lot of different Star Trek episodes without having to make it a boring clip show.
Right.
Yep.
That is the very well said.
Yeah, that's exactly what this episode is.
Yeah, that was perfect description there, Jill. It really was.
Still better than Shades of Grey.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god. No, that was the worst way to say goodbye to Pulaski. Why?
Yeah.
Some would say the best. She saved Riker's life.
And I'm trying to understand, here that Kirk saying molecules in your body are converted into energy. He's trying to describe the transporter process. And I mean, he's talking to Abraham Lincoln, so he's assuming that Lincoln can understand physics like that, or
yeah, you know what? There was a deleted scene that they cut for time where Spock is talking to him about the nature of how the Enterprise flies, because Lincoln's like, wow, I always thought this ship that's on the water was the coolest ship, but he says it in a different way, in Lincoln way. But then I didn't think about a ship that's floating on air. And so Spock corrects him and explains space and all that. And Lincoln says, well, I know when to admit, you either display your ignorance, or you be honest. And honestly, Spock, I don't know what you're talking about.
And that's a deleted scene. Oh man, they should have kept that scene in. That would have added a little more to the ambiance of the whole encounter here.
No, and it would have been really great, because you love a hero that admits his foibles, that admits what he isn't so good at. And so he does say, another thing he says is, I'm surprised that you honor me so, and that you think so highly of me, because I think I've made a lot of mistakes with the war, and I think I caused a lot more death than needed to have happened. And so
a little less Colonel Green, a little more Lincoln on the board the Enterprise is what you're saying, right, Jill?
Well, I mean, I just
here.
want a little more of everything that Gene gave us.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing that stood out for the one event, of course, that Lincoln put together, the Emancipation Proclamation, I believe
Oh,
that's
yes.
what Kirk is going off of, because that was one of his greatest achievements before
Well,
he was
it's
assassinated.
interesting you say that, because I have something from the 365 book I want to read. Gene
Oh, cool.
Roddenberry, it has been reported, held a great admiration for President Abraham Lincoln, and his words and actions during the creation of Star Trek testify to that fact. While President Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, the document that freed the slaves in the South led to the freeing of the slaves. And Roddenberry adhered to the philosophy behind it. From the start, Roddenberry steadfastly insisted that his starship's command crew included persons of all races, unlike the standard Caucasian monopoly that populated the majority of 1960s television shows. The producer also confirmed his belief in the simplest of terms when he created the Vulcan philosophy of IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. So it is only fitting that the single script Roddenberry contributed to Star Trek's final season would include Abraham Lincoln interacting with the characters he himself had created. Unfortunately, the story seems a bit unrealistic, given that Lincoln, the great orator, is forced into hand-to-hand combat, while the more powerful weapon of his words remained sheathed. As the series geared down, Roddenberry and Majel Barrett made plans for their future together by starting a company that would distribute Star Trek memorabilia. The name
Yes.
Roddenberry chose for the company,
Lincoln Enterprises.
the uniting of those two words, one the name of his hero, the other a variant on the name of his starship, reveals how much each meant to the producer.
Yes,
I'm going to name
indeed.
my company Jesus Prophet.
I love the captain's log here where he says, and yet his kindness, his honor, everything about him is so right. And now he's quoting Union Army observation balloons. Okay. There we go.
Well, but I
And
think that's an incredible sort of introduction into Kirk's character. Not like, and it is echoed in Star Trek 2 when I know your fondness for antiquities. And so there are things that echo out of season 3. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I'll shut up. This is the best part.
Yeah, Jill played this clip at the beginning, and it's like
No,
it's
Jill
like
Rackett, you should say it.
Jill played
Because
this clip.
We're gonna get a clip that says we shouldn't be afraid of
Charming
words.
negress.
Exactly. And take that, Wookiees.
Well,
Don't be
just
afraid
saying.
of words.
Mr. Scott,
but
what
if
a
I
charming
recall-
negress.
Yeah, but if I recall correctly, in future Star Trek, Comic-Cons or whatever, Nichelle Nichols herself said she didn't even feel offended when he said it. She was perfectly fine with it.
Abraham
Because she
Lincoln's
knows her
very
character.
charming.
She knows how Uhura would handle it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
she played this perfectly.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Booker even said it just now.
Lincoln
Yeah.
apologizes and says, "Oh, forgive
Immediately.
me, dear. I know in my time, some use that term as a description of property." And Uhura says,
But why should I object to that term, sir? You see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
Words.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh,
One
yeah,
of the
best
best
response we could ever come
things
up with.
in the episode, for sure.
I think
Absolutely.
I think that is a lesson that I learned from Star Trek, and so I kind of learned it from Uhura.
And
by virtue
people
of
today
Nichelle
could learn
Nichols.
a lot from it again.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It would help a lot. Instead
Are you
of
talking about
canceling
me?
people for
Are
being
you saying
offended
me? I
about
shouldn't be afraid of
something.
words.
No, the Wookiees. The Wookiees. The Wookiees of this day and age.
The
I've heard of
society.
This is
Yes.
probably one of the one of the quotes I quote the most from Star Trek is from this episode. I use that one a lot because it applies to so many things today.
Yes.
And it lives on, and seeing it I cried a little bit.
I think
watching
that
episode.
I think that this interaction, this moment, is more important than the interracial kiss in terms of race relation.
I totally agree.
Yep.
Agree.
Yep. That's
Yeah, and then Lincoln says the foolishness of my century had me apologizing where no offense was given.
yes, indeed.
And Kirk says, and so this is played directly into learning about Zurek, even though we don't see him yet. We've each learned to be delighted with what we are. The Vulcans learned that centuries before we did.
Yes.
Right.
Great scene, and we can thank Roddenberry for that.
Yeah, thank you,
I
Gene, for
do.
this part of the episode that you wrote.
Yeah.
But again, I got to go with the team effort because I do attribute a lot of DC Fontana's work in terms of the development of the Vulcans, and I think that we're building on a foundation that she provided.
And don't forget, Theodore
Absolutely.
Sturgeon also was instrumental in the
Teddy.
Yes, definitely. Well, I miss the whole team, and it's
Oh
good
yeah.
to just have a hint of what culminated from their work here.
And we do have to say, like I've mourned the loss of one regular cast member. I don't think I cared when Lieutenant Kyle left. I don't know if he has any left. I think I did.
I
But
think you
this
did
is
that.
Uhura's.
Yeah.
This is Uhura's last appearance. And this is also the last. So thusly, this is the last appearance of the Big Seven. We don't have another all hands on deck. Although we do get a Christine Chapel in the last episode. But this is the end of the Big Seven.
Yeah, I have to say,
what
honestly,
a great way to go out.
Oh, for sure. And I have to say,
Except for the last
honestly,
10 minutes.
When Nichelle did pass away, Nichelle Nichols, I mourned. I actually cried the day I found out she died.
I did too.
Yeah.
I watched Star Trek 5 because I love the fan dance.
I watched the Lorelei Signal, the animated episode.
Lorelei
That
Signal,
was a better choice. Why didn't you call me? Jeez.
I did. You were there.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't remember, it might be fun for you to watch that one.
I might. I doubt it.
No, I know.
Eugene Bird in the chat, yo. I don't know what this sticker looks like, but we got to check it out.
Okay, then definitely let's check that out.
A sticker?
Right.
Oh.
There's a sticker. It is super.
I don't have super my pair? Chat open.
Yeah, Eugene Bird.
Here we go.
Whoops.
1999.
All right, so it's a super pair saying "Go,
go."
Is it a panda? Is it a panda?
No, I'm showing it right now.
No,
it's not a panda.
It's a pear person. It's a pear person.
It's a green pear.
Saying "Go,
go."
Fabulous,
yeah, it's like World Cup. Yeah, Eugene Bird's quoting like the goal, the guy who says goal from World Cup, soccer. That kind of goal thing. Yeah.
Right.
I don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah, cool. I just love sports.
Thank you, Eugene Bird.
Excuse me.
Oh, no, man. That reminds me of
is our business.
Yes.
It's a true story.
You tell him, Kirk.
Thank you, Eugene Bird. That is so generous of you, and it's always great to see you here in the chat. Let's see where I was here. Oh, and hey, James Cassard is here. Interesting that they used a real whistle for this, since they had a simulated whistle for the other episodes.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually did that whistle in one take, believe it or not.
It was well done.
Yeah, you got it right the first time. The guy who did it.
Good job, Dickinson.
Yep.
Yeah, good job, Dickinson.
I'm sure Freiburger Brain was happy with that. They didn't have to take multiple takes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Money.
money.
Budget.
Yeah, and
budget.
given that he was real patient with this episode, letting it go one day over schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Demonetized in 1, 2. Hey, but I'm not fully monetized, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all good.
And hello to Sci-Fi Sipdan.
Hello,
How are you doing? How are you doing, Sipdan?
Hey, Dan, what's up?
Hello there.
Oh, yes. Thank you. This is how I grew up too. Booger414 says, now we have sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me is how I grew up. But Booger is saying words are acts of violence.
Yeah.
which takes away the entire meaning of the thing.
And remember,
Well-
Jill, silence is also violence.
Oh, okay. So, oh my dear. So unless you're parroting exactly what you're supposed to parrot, you are
Yeah.
evil.
You are, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
In their
it's
eyes,
a ridiculous way to live. And I
Yeah.
Well, one time, Stone Racket, they used to say silence is golden. We know that's not true anymore.
That's
We
right.
also know they used to say ignorance is bliss. We definitely know that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
you know, it's just these little phrases. I want to strangle the guy who said ignorance is bliss because it's not true. It's
Yes,
absolutely
it's
not
not.
true.
Alan,
You know,
I just want to say hello to Alan Gogolewski. And I'm gonna go.
Gogolewski. Yes.
Thank you so much, Alan, for being here. He says 100%.
Absolutely.
Kirk turned around and called him a moron. Oh,
He
wait.
never said
Oh,
that.
that James Caserta, he's always the party pooper.
Yeah, nobody
He
did
didn't say
that.
that.
Yet the Vulcans never really accepted the Romulans for who they were. Well, the problem was the Romulans left Vulcan. They didn't. The Romulans left. The Vulcans, whatever. It
Well,
was a whole big thing. They wouldn't live peacefully.
Well, they tried to embrace the Romulans at first, right? Because the Romulans said that, but then the Romulans said, "No, we want to be too aggressive, and I think emotions is more important." So then they walked away. So that's not the Vulcans' fault,
Right?
You know?
Exactly. Eugene Bird says that was when there was real racism too.
Yeah,
Right. And I'm not saying that there isn't real racism, but a lot of times today they do make it up and everything, and it's not cool.
It's been
not cool to
conquered
do that. It
pretty much.
diminishes. It diminishes it when it is real.
Yeah. Oh, exactly, Jill.
And I look at this phrase, by Spock, and I'm thinking, is he being condescending, saying they came up with this before Earth beings did, or are we just,
No, they're just talking about it. No, they're just talking
Yeah.
about the combination of a number of things to make existence worthwhile. So
That's a good
the differences. That's why the other quote that I got was this one, and which we're going to see in a little bit.
Okay.
Which is one that
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
There you go, Sir.
Yeah, he's superb. He's up there with Leonard Nimoy of doing a great Vulcan.
Oh, 6 of you on Rumble. That's great. Thank you for letting me know. AXS.
Ooh, Rumble.
I don't know.
AFS 1970.
Where you guys are.
And that's the Grand Poobah.
Yeah, that's the Grand Poobah from the Flintstones.
That's right.
Yeah,
From the
wow.
Flintstones.
Hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. And
He's got Optimus Prime, which is kind of cool.
Sci-Fi System says the pen is mightier than the sword. The point is that all it takes is a good war speech to cause a massive war or to solve a conflict. And Star Trek is full of good speeches. I think maybe some people's problem with this episode is that we don't get that final speech, that good speech, and that we should have got that from Lincoln, and that does make sense. If Roddenberry would have finished the episode, maybe he would have done that.
And Jill, you received another super chat amount from Matt G.
Matt G.
Yeah, he gave you $1.
Hey, thank you, Matt
$1.
G. Thank you, Matt G, for the super sticker. Let's see where that is. It's right here. Thank you for the super chat.
Matt G will buy this for $1.
I'll buy that. Well, he did. He bought it. It's his now.
Yep.
He bought you some coffee there, Jill.
Yeah, well, from some coffee from McDonald's, possibly.
There you go. Yeah,
not Starbucks.
No, Starbucks is like more.
Yeah, like
more
$9. $9 more.
Yeah,
Change is the essential process of all existence.
And thank you so much, Maggie, for that.
Yeah, thank you, Matt G.
Yeah. And James Caserta says $100. No, 100 pennies, but still well appreciated.
Yes.
I will count each penny and stack them up and roll them up in a little.
Yeah.
One of those little
Booger
roller
414 says as long as the coffee isn't too hot.
No, the coffee should be hot. I don't
But
want
not
it
too
to be
hot.
tepid.
But
Oh.
not enough to give you second-degree
No-
burns. and you
No
could
such
sit
thing.
Yeah.
there.
No such thing.
Always make sure that your coffee has a safety sippy lid firmly attached.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
just make sure you don't stick it in between your legs like a dummy while you're fiddling with your car.
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying to
why.
drive here.
That's
Yeah.
why cup holders were invented.
Yes. Exactly.
And
Oh, I
Uhura
do
gets
like
to
that
take
Lincoln.
Lincoln to the engineering to show.
I wish we could have seen that.
Yeah, I
too.
want to see that. Less Colonel Green.
He says he's probably looking up a plate of haggis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun too if Lincoln could have used the food synthesizers. What would he order?
But what do Excalbians eat, Jill?
No, Spock reminds me of you guys when we're doing a live stream and I say something and then you're like more in that direction, Junior, because Scotty is talking about where Earth is and Earth and he points and Spock's like, no, over there.
And
I
I
love
love
it.
it. They could have made fun of what runs the ship. You could have said, "Oh, it's a modified version of your wind machine," or pushing something.
Well, those
It's
are
one
the
of-
kind of things that they wanted to add to it. They wanted to spend a little more time with it. And they just didn't have the time.
I do enjoy. I hate to say if anybody else has already said, because I'm just returning, and thank you for the leave of absence. But is this not reminiscent of that first episode with Chekhov? And it's like close enough we can smell them. You can't smell anything through space. I mean, it was just a joke, Mr. Spock. Anyway, similar.
Yeah, it is. It is similar to. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that's a good parallel. In terms of Scotty's just speaking arbitrarily, and Spock takes it seriously.
Can you go back to his?
Can you go back to what he said about an Arcturian?
Yeah, Arcturian. Bird.
He's mad. He's mad.
Okay, one at a time, guys. One at a time. Stone Racket first.
Sorry, Jill.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted you to go back to that slide where he had. Yeah. Mad Looney is an Arcturian dog bird.
and now Mikey.
Yeah, Mad Looney is an Arcturian dog bird.
Oh, okay. We just
that's even better. Mikey, you can do Scotty from now on. Scotty, as in Montgomery Scott, not Scotty.
Yeah, no, I don't.
R37.
I don't do a very good Scotty. Montgomery Scott.
Montgomery Scott.
You do a pretty good Captain Kirk, though.
I beg to differ. I do a better Captain Kirk. No,
it wouldn't be a proper Kirk comparison if there wasn't some competition.
Well, don't forget, I'm married to a Scot woman who's 100% Scottish and Suzanne, so I learned how to do doing pretty easily. Plus, his son.
Sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, continues. So yes, yeah, absolutely.
Jill is going into mom mode. Says AFS.
Mommy.
Those skills have transferred to YouTube. I can't deny it.
Hello,
to Heart 130.
And he's saying Canadian Spider-Man. Yay.
Flyboy.
Yeah, and so McCoy and Scott are saying, don't do it. It's too dangerous. What if you go down there and it's still lava and you die? And of course, then we get a re-rendition of the risk is our business speech. And it's just as good the second time.
But it is something like, and as you mentioned in terms of the first time, Scotty doesn't have the backup for McCoy in the first one because Scotty's enticed by the engineering, engines the size of a baseball or whatever they say. Mm-hmm. And in this one, Scotty's like, why are you guys going all nuts over Lincoln? And this is the mission to seek out new life and new civilizations. I am sort of subscribing to the idea at this point in the episode. We are here to meet new people, and no matter how bizarre this interaction is, we are here to do this.
So I'm wondering if instead of Lincoln, if it was Nikola Tesla, if there would have been a different reaction from Scotty.
Sure.
Exactly.
Or
But
Albert
you
Einstein.
don't appeal.
Or Albert
Don't
Einstein.
appeal to the supervisor. Appeal to the owner.
Yeah, no to Einstein, yes to Tesla.
Well, yeah, I knew better. Well, I like
Doesn't matter. We get a
Einstein anyway,
Sirac.
but anyway.
We get a Sirac.
Canadian Spider-Man says, thanks for being here, everyone. Please hit the like button to help support this channel. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Great
Yep,
to see you, Spidey.
I hit that like button and then voted in the poll.
Yep.
Oh, good
I voted
idea.
too, but
Also
I
vote
Vote.
to say how you feel about this episode, because you get to tell us what you would grade this episode.
Yes.
And
I have a feeling I know.
You're out of your
how-
heads. You're on the edge of insubordination. Oof.
See?
Yeah.
This is sort of this is what I like. This is organization, management, charisma.
Yep.
He starts off the meeting by saying gentlemen, which he always does when he begins the conversation, because they are gentlemen. They are of all the same mission and agreement ultimately. And so
Gentlemen, who came in?
At the end, when he just says, like, the ultimate authority is mine. And then they use that later on when Kirk addresses Sirac and he says, I have no authority over you. You will do what you must. This is whatever you want. Really, if you think it'll help, then we'll support you as best we can, which they do. And even with Lincoln, he says, I don't undermine your authority, dude, but I have an idea. And Kirk says,
yeah, that was so respectful, and I really appreciated that.
But what my only beef with the actor portraying Lincoln is he didn't stand on the transporter pad correctly.
Oh, you saw that where his foot was?
I'm like, dudes, come on.
Hit your mark.
They got down there still. I mean,
it would have been nice if Kirk said, Mr. President, just shuffle over to your left just a bit.
Well, no, but see, this shot right here is exactly, I was thinking about that one time where Kirk held up, I think it was Gary Mitchell, and he just held him up because they had, like, he stood for no reason. And Kirk was
he just gave him.
Wouldn't that Seth Brundle him? And so this is one of those situations where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna let it pass. And I've seen this a lot throughout the series. Not everybody hits their mark.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello to Brogu. Hello everyone. Hello, Anti-Derivative Jill. I hope you're having a great
day.
A great stream. A great day.
Brogu.
Broger414 says, what is interesting here is that the transporter can transport carbon-based and silicon-based beams simultaneously. Yes, that was kind of
it's magic, Booger.
But I was thinking that this isn't actually the silicon-based beam. This is just a projection. So we're just beaming up and down an image.
No, it isn't. It's actually one of the silicon.
Like a hard light, possibly.
It's one of the Excalbians.
Well, I think it is on the planet, but I'm not so sure on the ship because he's floating.
It is on the. It's the same.
Then how is he floating out in space on a chair if it is the actual alien?
No, that's a projection, of course. But when he's actually on the ship, it's as Spock said. As Spock said,
like McCoy said.
No, when they before they beam Lincoln up, Spock says that his sensor readings detected a rock thing with claws.
And you know what? You're completely right, Stone Racket, because after he's beamed up, he says, I feel whole. So he's really there. Yep. So that does make sense. You're correct. My mistake. And I do want to mention one thing about Lincoln is that the first choice was going to be Mark Leonard, but because of he was busy. He was too busy. He says, I was doing a series at the time called Here Comes the Bride, in which I played Aaron Stemple, the resident bad guy rich man.
It's Here Come the Brides, plural.
Here Come the Brides. The Lincoln segment came up about Christmas time when we had a slight hiatus, and I thought I could work it in. I had already played 2 roles on Star Trek, and they were well received. But it turned out we just couldn't work it in. I think we had to work on another series soon. But anyway.
I'm kind of glad they didn't get Mark Leonard.
Me too.
I prefer this actor.
That would have been too much.
Yeah.
But don't
It would have
forget,
been-
though, even if his right foot was missing off the pad a little bit, at least you didn't see him like appear on the planet and half that foot's missing. It's all there. So
That would have been cool, though.
that would have been cool.
That would have
Yeah.
been too upsetting for me as a wee lad of 10 years old.
Oh
That
yeah,
would've
you
been-
would
that would have been
He's
disturbing.
missing half a foot. He's
Okay,
missing
wait.
half-
Okay, Scotty.
Go ahead,
Well,
Scotty.
in terms of Mark Leonard being Lincoln, I think that would have been glorious. But it
You
would
think
have
so?
also butterfly affected the rest. Like, would he have been a Klingon then? Would he have been too associated with Star Trek that he didn't want to choose the further roles? And so in this particular instance, I appreciate the WPIG mascot being Abraham Lincoln. And I want the history that we had like that. I would have loved to see Mark Leonard be a Romulan, a Vulcan, a human, and a Klingon, the only one. But if he had played Lincoln here, would he have been just like, you know what? No. What if he had been affected by season 3 in the same way that Leonard Nimoy has spoken about it? Like in his subsequent interviews, he said that the writing dropped off and he wasn't having a good time and he was happy when it ended.
I think most
And-
of those feelings come from people on the bridge crew who are there every single day. And I think Mark Leonard wouldn't suffer from that because he's just a guest star who shows up every once in a while. And so he
But with a
wouldn't be
previous
as
relationship-
downtrodden as everyone else.
Right, it wouldn't have
I'm just-
bothered him as much.
Again, it's just a question of the ripples in the lake as to what would have happened if he had been.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's just a question for the time.
It's a
But all we
speculation.
do know is that the tricorder and the phaser was not allowed to beam down. The communicator doesn't
There he is.
communicate. And
There's a hippie.
so all we get to do is see Surak. Surak, played by Barry Atwater, who was 50. He had many roles. He actually played Lincoln himself for the day the world wept. And I have a little picture of that. Where is it? Here it is. So this is him as Lincoln too. Oh
you
wait,
zoom in?
in One Step Beyond, Barry Atwater when he played Lincoln in One Step Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
In the
So-
episode, The Day the World Wept.
Yeah, he was born in Denver, Colorado. He served as head of the UCLA sound department before he began his acting career. He died in 1978 at the age of 60.
And he was regular on General Hospital. Oh yeah,
Yes.
I like watching House
My
because
mother
House is
loved
always
General
watching.
Hospital. Yeah,
He's
my
always
mother loved
watching
it.
General Hospital.
Yeah. He was also on Days of Our Lives. He was on that a couple times too.
So was I.
And well, but he also had science fiction under his belt. Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, Voyage
Oh,
to
yes.
the Bottom of the Sea, The Invaders,
Yes.
and The Wild Wild West.
Yes.
That
Wookie
was
Wookie Wild
sci-fi?
Wild West.
Okay.
And we're going.
You know,
to
the one that
Wild
goes
Wild
dun,
West.
dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
You know
dun.
how Michael Dunn became loveless.
Yep. Miguelito Loveless.
And also, he worked with Nimoy on Mission Impossible. So there's a little
Yes.
thing from the 365 book here I want to read.
He did. Yes, he did. That was awesome. When Nimoy
About
was part of-
Surak. Prior to his introduction in The Savage Curtain, the character Surak, a Vulcan, had been mentioned on Star Trek. Spock introduces him to Kirk here as the greatest of all who ever lived on our planet. The father of all we became, but just with less emotion than I just gave. Surak then showed himself to be a man of peace, which cost him, or at least this facsimile of him, his life. But he proved to be an intriguing character. Such an intriguing character that mentions of him and his philosophy would remain popular topics of discussion among fans for decades. Even
That's
though
awesome.
the great man himself would not appear on screen again for 35 years, the father of Vulcan showed up at last, albeit as a Katra, inspired vision within the mind of Captain Jonathan Archer during the final season
Yay!
in the series Star Trek Enterprise, which we did review on this channel on a Friday.
Yay!
It was a good one.
It was a good.
Yes.
It was a good series of episodes. The Klingon character Kalis, whose image also appeared in The Savage Curtain, turned out to be a similarly illusionary character. His reappearance 24 years later, however, would find him a changed man, no longer the bad guy of the curtain, but a far more honorable Klingon of the type that populated the kinder, gentler universe of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This Kalis, it would be revealed, founded the mighty Klingon Empire and wrote the laws that unite its warriors. However, he was no more the real thing than the Kalis that Kirk encountered on Excalibur. It turns out that the TNG representation of Kalis was a clone of the real warrior.
And what was about the lady villainess that was played in this episode? What was her background story? What was, because I never understood it.
Irrelevant.
It's basically if she's a scientist, why is she dressed like a cave woman?
She's a scientist. She did experiments. I guess not so good experiments.
Not so good experiments. Very bad. Very bad.
Like, she seems like she would be the Dr. Mengele of the group, but why would you have
precisely?
Why would you have that? Why would you have it? Would be like bringing up the Soong from the geneticist who built on Khan's work, kind of thing. Like, it's weird. It's weird that she's there as a combatant when she's a scientist, and she's not even a strategist. She doesn't talk. She's just there to be fugly. We know she's evil because she's ugly. Same deal with Genghis Khan. They don't do anything with Genghis Khan. He's just there. It's like, you know him. He's a bad guy.
That is unfortunate. Genghis Khan would have been interesting to see how he would behave, but he just throws rocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
He throws rocks.
True.
He just throws rocks at you. Yes.
As historically we know him to do.
Yes.
And then Surak is playing. Yeah, and then Surak is playing a complete pacifist. I'm like, he's not even putting rocks together. He's just staying there. I'm not going to fight. I'm not doing anything.
That's my favorite part of the episode, where they're throwing rocks and spears.
Yeah, right.
Like, Mikey, you are familiar with Surak. I
am familiar with Surak.
He is the father of logic and pacifism. And so even his explanation in this episode, he says that he sent negotiators and peace envoys until they stopped killing them.
Right.
He is a man of logic, and the only thing you can do, you know what happens when your envoy stops dying? That means that they have presented the logic. That's when they come back and say they understood our logic. Obviously, you, as envoys and diplomats, have achieved the logic of peace. Congratulations. Not only that, but
that's
your
precisely
opponent
what it is.
Have been embraced by the logic that you presented. Everyone seems to be getting along now, and therein is the history of Vulcan.
That's aggressive peacemaking.
Cowboy diplomacy.
Yes, and then, of course, what leads in a few days to the first contact with the Vulcans and the and Earthlings.
Oh, Booger 414 says, I still maintain. Okay, so this is his idea. That General Kalis and Emperor Kalis were different people. I wrote an article in a fanzine about it. That is so cool that you submitted a paper about that. That'd be really neat to read that. Kalis was a bad guy.
Yeah, a very bad guy. Help me, Kirk.
Didn't he kill his own brother?
He's a bad guy, but he's very good at impressions.
Yes. Yeah, I had a coworker. He and I would do the help me Kirk, help me Spock all the time at work. It drove our coworkers nuts.
Yeah, help me Kirk.
Help Spock, help me.
Why is Kalis such a good impersonator?
Yeah, it's like TNG made Kalis a Nancy boy.
Not really.
No, I'm just.
He was still a warrior, but
I'm being silly.
But TNG did make him more of a good guy than one who was all just for tyranny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and it was
again,
Colonel Green, and it was Colonel Green that did those imitations of, of Lincoln and of Surak.
no, it
Dying.
was Kalis. It was
Yeah, it
Kalis.
was
It was
Kalis.
Kalis, not
It was
Colonel Green.
Kalis.
Yeah.
Oh, Kalis. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Got that wrong.
And this, of course,
Colonel Green egged him on, of course, but
and for everybody on the internet, this is, of course, a very much used, repeated image of Spock giving the hand salute here,
I think I had this poster.
I like the one from Amok Time better.
which is why I got one with that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's a
sweet.
good one too.
Yeah, they're both
Yes,
good because it's Leonard Nimoy, you know.
The image of Surak. Oh yes, and he admits to showing a bit of emotion seeing his hero, and begs forgiveness for it. So that's
To
a very
image of
Vulcan
Surak.
moment.
There is a very limited amount of times that I will criticize Leonard Nimoy's acting. He did not convey the emotion that is being commented on in this scene. I thought his eyes would widen or his eyebrows would rise, but the moment itself does not warrant the criticism that Surak bestows.
I thought that was just artifact of the fact that Vulcans are telepathic, so he could sense the emotion even though it wasn't betrayed by Spock's face. So he was able to conceal it visually, but internally, Surak could sense it.
So Joe, was he mentally, this vision of Surak, was he mentally able to tell that Spock was half human, that he was half Vulcan and half human?
It doesn't come up in the episode, but it's possible.
How
but
is
he doesn't hold that against him.
How does an Excalbian reconstruction of Surak maintain the telepathic qualities?
Right. But I like Jill's explanation, even despite that little detail. And
because it's a recreation of
everybody clap.
Just like how the tricorder can read Lincoln and say, "Oh, this is human." The tricorder would read Surak as a Vulcan, and so it would have the same physiological properties as a Vulcan for a brief time.
Everybody, clap your hands and click your claws. It's Yarnak.
Hey.
Yes, Yarnik.
Yeah, and Stone Racket would probably agree with me. The only thing that's missing is the Excalibur sword in his side.
Oh yes, there you go.
So
that would have been a little bit too much on the nose, though, Mikey. If they had the sword there.
That's true. I thought that
would have been.
Say the words. Show the sword. Say the words. As Merlin
so,
says.
Mikey. Janos Proshanka designed and played Yarnik, the lava creature. He had been the Horda from Devil in the Dark.
Yeah,
he was. Oh, that's awesome.
And the Mugatu in A Private Little War. This was his last appearance on Star Trek, and he moved on to Land of the Giants and the Andy Williams Show.
If I may, his name is pronounced Janos Prohaska.
Janos Prohaska.
And this suit was originally designed for Lost in Space, but Urban Allen said, "What is this? What am I supposed to do with this?"
And
it does look like a Lost in Space, but
what part did he play in Andy Griffith's show? What part did he play?
Yeah, I was going to say what that was on the Andy Williams show. Janos portrayed the Cookie Bear.
The Cookie Bear.
Yeah, bear. Yeah.
Andy Williams show. Okay.
The Andy Williams show.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, my older brother and I just love that bear. You always give him a cookie and he'll be happy.
Okay, just a moment. Donnie just appeared in the chat. Hello, Donnie. I'm glad you're here. He says, "I'm doing amazing. Earlier this morning marked a year since I lost my late dad to lung cancer. Cancer does drool big time. I plan to visit a cemetery this evening to pay respects to him. And I'm sorry for your loss, that it is so recent. And
our condolences to you, Don.
Our condolences to your family, Don. Yes.
Absolutely. You and your whole family, yes.
Yes.
Prayers to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. That sounds interesting. Anyone know about that?
Oh yeah, she's great. Yeah, subscribe to her. She's wonderful. She's a rock and roll chick.
Oh, rock and roll. I don't think I'd fit in that group.
But
And
she knows other stuff too. She hangs out
Cool.
with Mark D with the C on Sunday Night Geekery, so she knows how to
Sunday night
hang out.
geekery. Cool.
hmm
yeah,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
Mark D with the C, man, it's great.
yeah, and then Stream Elements also showed us our Cardinal Sins Legacy channel. Rest in peace, Gil, and Stream Elements showed that too for
Yes.
his channel.
Yes,
It's up.
thank you,
It's up a
Phil.
little bit above Booger there. Yeah.
My
Stream-
dad is with the Morphin Masters already. May the power protect him.
Yeah, he's with
Yeah.
Jason David Frank. He's right with them. Ranger Power. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
hello to Suzanne Dolan. So glad you're here.
Hey, Susan Dolan.
Spock felt that he had betrayed logic even though it didn't show. The image of Surak would not have known had Spock mentioned it.
Huh.
Well, maybe,
and
maybe
it's
not.
possible. It's possible that Spock was just, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
We're all mortal, but lung cancer is terrible and a painful, wasting disease. God bless you, Don Don, says Eugene Bird. Said it better than I could. Thank you, Eugene.
It is.
James Caserta says DS9 wanted to make you feel uncomfortable. And Booger says, Yarnak, Yarnak, Yarnak.
Excalibur with the sword.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the thing about Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs, she loves when you talk nerdy to her. That's a good way to put it.
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
another
boy.
thing about Yarnak is Bart LaRue, who also voiced the Guardian of Forever, voices Yarnak.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, it might have been roboted a little bit down, but at least you could tell it sounded like the same guy.
It's yeah, I like the modulation to his voice in this one. It was pretty cool.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And every time he talked, his eyes lit up. Did you notice that?
I noticed that too.
Yeah, more than
Kind of like
eyes.
the Lost in Space robot.
Yeah.
Well, and that makes sense why this came from that series. It all fits together now. Thank you.
It's too bad Irwin. Well, it's a win for Star Trek and a loss for Lost in Space.
Okay,
and
wait
Allen.
a minute. I think I hear Jim saying something. Jim doesn't input. Jim, what did you have, Dad?
It was a cool effect, I was trying to say.
Yeah, agree.
Very cool effect. I agree.
Very.
Yeah.
Everything about the rock creature, the way the rock, how he transforms into a being.
Yeah, I loved that as a kid, and I still love it because I'm a Toys R Us kid at heart.
No, me too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Where's our Transformer Yarnak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's our Yarnik Hallmark Christmas ornament?
Yeah, now there's the ugly woman who was the scientist.
Oh yeah, let's look at that for a bit.
Yeah, dressed as a cave woman for some reason.
I never understood that.
Yeah, it's like, what?
She does look like the future incarnation of Klingons, though.
Of a Klingon woman? You mean like the
just of a general? If you look at her eyebrows and like the animal, like she looks like a prototypical Klingon. Oddly enough, where she did her horrible science experiments, that was on the same planet as Dr. Severin. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. Well, and then the Klingon over there on the far right. Well, we saw his kind in Trouble with Tribbles, so same outfit, same everything, pretty much.
Same blackface.
And and things get better in TNG where they just hire people who are naturally.
Well, and did you guys talk about Mork? Did you guys talk about Mork and Mindy?
No.
This is the same costume-ish as Mork. It just has the white triangle on the front.
Oh, we hadn't. I hadn't mentioned Philip Pine plays Colonel Green, and you're saying this is from Mork and Mindy? No, I didn't. I don't have that in my notes, so you get to.
Oh yeah, it was in. Yeah, apparently that's what I read on IMDb. Take it with a bucket.
I'm gonna take it with a bucket of salt. But...
Well, no, I won't because I saw a picture, so I think the picture looks right, but it may be wrong. You're right. I'll take it with the bucket.
I feel like a Billy Joel song right now. You may be right, I may be crazy, but it may just be a lunatic you're looking for. Which is very apt when it comes to Colonel Green.
Yeah.
So, right. He's got a red uniform.
For all I know, you may be wrong, but you may be right.
That's all we know for sure.
Yeah, less Colonel Green and more Lincoln on the Enterprise, as I said before.
Yeah, there we go.
But he had about 100 credits at the time of this filming, and he worked with Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, he pops up in a lot of things, and he's annoying a lot of the time to me. Anyway,
yeah,
but,
he was also on the Twilight Zone, the Outer Limits Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the Invaders.
You don't like this actor?
Wow.
Not really, no.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought he had gravitas here.
Earlier in the chat, I wanted
that's
to mention
okay.
earlier in the chat, I wanted to mention to you about Philip Pine. Somebody was trying to think that he was related to Chris Pine that played, later played Kirk in the Kelvin opposite timeline, but and Robert Pine, the guy who was in, Chips. But no, Philip Pine doesn't have any relation to them. That's what I wanted to verify to you.
Let me check.
Okay. And
a different
also
part of the
another
forest.
thing I want to add is that Mark Phillips was interviewed by Starlog in 1988, and he said, "I was really fortunate that Paramount didn't know how Star Trek struck. I was at the time, or they would have made me pay them to appear on the show. I had always been a fan of Gene Roddenberry's work, and I jumped at the opportunity to appear in a series that I personally enjoyed watching every week. I was very pleased to be part of it. The character Green was well written. There was little or no change required by the director, Herschel Dougherty, or myself to highlight Green's Machiavellian mind. Adolf Hitler was discussed at one point, and I was certainly influenced by that man's character in playing that role."
Sneaky little bastard, that Colonel Green.
And in terms of Robert Pine, yes, he was on Chips. And he is, in fact, the father of Chris.
Mm-hmm. But not related to this Pine.
No.
And Joe, I'm very respectful that you were able to say Machiavellian. Love that.
Oh, thank you. I've been wanting to say that word for a while.
There you go.
It'll be on Christmas cards for all the members. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Mikey, have you read The Prince?
Being a member.
What's that, Becky?
I said, have you read The Prince by Machiavelli?
Machiavelli? Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I heard that it's a boring read.
Yeah, we had excerpts from it when I was in high school. That's where I first encountered it.
Well, when you get to 700 subscribers, I think we're going to be talking about the movie Seven, which does have reference to Machiavelli.
No, we're going to be doing the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Oh my goodness. Yes. AFS says I spit on the ground when you mentioned the Kelvin timeline.
Agreed.
I do too, but I'm being nice to my panelists.
You know what? We don't. I have been on nearly, I would say I've probably missed like 3 or 4 shows. I've been nearly on every one of these reviews of Star Trek, the original series. It's been such a gift to be able to hang out and watch these in production order, which is something I've never done. It's great to hang out with the chat and especially the panel, just to be able to share ideas and figure out what's going on. So yeah, we've always agreed we don't talk about the filth on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes, and we attempt not to talk about it, but sometimes it comes up.
It does.
I do want to mention that Genghis Khan is played by Nathan Young, and Carol Daniels Dement plays Zora, but neither have any lines in this episode.
Yeah, they just grunt.
Carol Daniels Dement played Zora. She was primarily a stunt person for Brenda Vaccaro. And Dement also did stunts for
Brenda Vaccaro.
Brenda Vaccaro. Thank you.
Brenda Vaccaro. Yeah. With those famous commercials for a certain feminine product.
And for Michelle Lee and Suzanne Pleshette.
No.
Pleshette.
Suzanne Pleshette. Yeah.
Suzanne Pleshette.
Nathan
Awesome.
Young played Genghis Khan. He was only 22, and so this was his first notable appearance on TV.
Oh, cool.
He continued to work whenever an Asian was needed.
Well, he went
And
on to
also
play,
did
and
stunts.
he actually did a lot of things. He went on to, even if anybody remembers the Kentucky Fried Movie, he played Butkus.
Oh wow. He played who?
Oh, yeah, I
Sorry, Pop?
remember that.
In
Yeah, I
A Fistful
remember that.
Again, right? In A Fistful Again, he played Butkus.
Nice.
Yes.
And he went on to do a lot of things, yes.
Pop, didn't he do a lot of martial arts films? Some of those, like the B movies.
Yes, he was a martial artist.
Yes,
Sweet.
he was. That's yes.
So he did some stunt work as well, I take it.
Oh
yes.
Yeah. So 2 stunt people. Excellent.
Like that's good makeup. He does look alien. I like the beard. I like the bowl cut. This
Yeah,
is
he has a
classic
really
Klingon.
good look. I like. Yeah.
I wish he had the sash, like the same one that that Core had.
Oh,
Well,
that would be
and-
that would be interesting. Yeah, it might have
the
gotten
sash.
away with his
the sash and the
fighting
sash that Worf
the
gets
wrastling.
later.
with
Hey,
his
Jill, may I
wrestling.
do-
Yeah.
Yeah, may I do his the line before this, and then this one, and the one that he says? Yeah, after that. So the next one,
Sure.
the next slide. It's a confrontation of some sort. Those are figures out of history, notoriously evil.
Nice.
That was the best Chekhov impression I've ever heard.
Notoriously
so-
evil.
This is speaking of last. This is the last time we get guest appearances of a Klingon and a Vulcan in Star Trek, the original series. So that's Kalis and Sarek.
Oh, it's so disappointing that we have to celebrate all of the lasts.
I know, it was so much more fun to say this is the first
I know this
time.
is so
Mhm.
disappointing, but it's like one of the best episodes ever made, and just to see all these
Mhm.
people disappear for a while, you know.
I'm with you so far. Just let's get to the last. Let's get to the denouement.
Yes.
This is engaging and exciting. I enjoy this premise. I do.
Well,
see,
but then this is the end of Gene Roddenberry's contribution to the script.
Yes.
We are now in Act 3.
Yes.
Now Arthur Heineman is
Heineman.
doing the
Yeah,
work.
And Fry Burger Brain and Singer and all that gang.
Yeah, and Arthur Singer.
Yeah.
A lot of
See-
laughs in this episode.
The Singer
I-
and the Fry Burger Brain.
So no
I
wonder
think
I've been
that
having
this-
so much fun. All of that was Gene.
Yep.
But the thing, like this is, and you guys sort of consider it to be a not caring or not wanting to follow through. But I do, like, as much as I poo-poo on Gene because of his proclivities, like he is. It's like it's a bunch of guys who are trying to do something creative, and they're all looking at each other, and it's like, well, what do you want to do? I have no idea what to do with this. Well, what do you want to do? We got a rock monster, yo. I don't know. What
Wow,
do
we
I
got a
know
rock
who is
monster. That's all we need.
It's Kalis.
And
I
don't
can't
forget that
figure
Gene
this out.
was. Yeah, and don't forget that Gene at the time was still womanizing a little bit. He was still fooling around with Nigel Barrett. I mean,
But this
Well,
is
And
this
I
is
thought you
also a
celebrated
lack
it.
of-
I didn't think you were
Nigel?
doing it.
Nigel.
Yes, Nigel
Nigel?
Barrett.
Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel Barrett.
Nigel.
Okay. Well, I think it is. I think Walter Koenig in the Cushman book puts it pretty well when he says, "We strongly suspected that we're going to be canceled. There was a feeling throughout the entire organization that we were just playing out a string, that we were just lame ducks. And when the year was over, that would be it. And some of the episodes actually reflected that. I think there was a significant drop off in quality of the shows as we progressed deeper into the third season." And I'm going to mute the background discussion until it's over. Mikey, you may unmute when you're finished talking with your other person.
Excalibur.
Yeah, you're Excalibur. I don't know. No, I don't want to call her a rock creature.
No, that's rude. That's rude. I'm
That is
sorry.
rude.
It was the first
Don't
thing
do
that
that.
popped in my head. I didn't mean it.
I'm sorry I laughed.
We're all
Sorry.
very sorry over here.
We're all sorry.
Yeah.
We're all apologetic in our sophomoric.
We're just so
behavior.
enamored of
Sorry
Yarnock.
about that, guys.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
No,
okay.
you're good. You're
No,
good.
that's okay. No, I get it.
You don't have to apologize. I did something wrong.
You're fine. That was fine. I left something open and you finished it. The Rock
Come
said
on.
the confrontation of two opposing philosophies, you term good and evil. So we ask you to observe with us the confrontation of two opposing philosophies, you term good and evil. Since this is our first experiment with Earthlings, our theme is a simple one: survival, life, and death. Your philosophies are alien to us, and we wish to understand them and discover which is the stronger. We learn by
course.
observing such spectacles.
Yep. Now with
Inspector with
the
the gun, take away the
with-
mystery.
yeah, with the Outer Limits, they did an episode in their first season called Fun and Games, and the aliens pitted two Earth people, a man and a woman, against aliens from the Calco galaxy, and the reason they did it, just for kicks. And the loser, the main aliens responsible for the contest, the loser, they would blow up their planet.
Show me
fire-
what you
That sounds
got.
similar.
You know, it's like a giant firecracker in the sky. You know, it's like they're just doing it for kicks. Of course,
Show
you
me
can't
what you
have
got.
that in Star Trek.
And that is a bit this last half of the episode, because the Rock Monster does end up having to put the Enterprise at jeopardy just to
Of
force
course.
Kirk's hand to be
Of
violent,
course.
because
Yeah.
of course the good guys are only violent when they have to be. And so that's the only
this is-
real thing we get from
This is why I prefer to think of Yarnik as Yarnik, because every time someone says Rock Monster, I can't help but think of the B-52's hit song,
Rock Lobster?
So
It's a-
if you guys keep talking about Yarnik as a rock monster, I may
Sub Commander Tall
the
says
thing is,
on
I'm
its
okay with that.
Sub Commander Tall says on its face, it's absurd, but the charisma of the guest stars, Lincoln, Surak, Green, is so good. Totally agree. Absolutely, totally agree. Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
I even
That's-
and interesting with that slide. I even enjoy the stock footage of, like, at the beginning of the episode, Sulu is sitting there at the console and he looks back at Kirk in a
Yep.
POV shot, and it's got Lincoln there, and it's like that is exactly what Sulu would do. That was
Yeah,
a good use.
It's the stock
of
footage
stock
from
shot.
season 1 of Sulu
Yeah.
looking back at Kirk. And we love it.
And I
Yeah,
love
and
it whenever something
I can go
absurd
back.
shows up, and he does. Anyway,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we're good. We all know what it looks
And I
like.
can and I can go back and think about that first time that happened, and Pop Culture Curator told us all about that particular shot and how it was made and everything. And so I'm getting a bit nostalgic for my old episodes.
Make a short.
Edge of Time says Rock Lobster is the preferred term.
Ma, na, na.
Well, it is now. Eugene Bird says, has anybody noticed how effective Jill has gotten at manhandling an exciting panel compared to 50 ILICs
Infinite
ago,
lunches
when
in
it was
infinite combinations.
when it Scotty used to? Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad that I'm improving something. And Calvin L. Weir says, hi all. This is a great episode. You really feel the dignity of Surak, Lincoln, and the conniving evil of Colonel Green.
True.
Yes, agreed.
Yep. That sneaky Colonel Green, I tell you.
Mhm.
You may
And so-
fabricate
and so we
anything you
get-
desire out of what you can find around you. Oh, what does that sound like? Sounds like the Metrons. Arena. One of my favorite. That's in my top 5.
It's in my top
episodes.
10. I'm not sure where it is yet. I haven't ordered my tops yet, but that's
Spot.
definitely
Oh,
one.
I already have. Or as well, you
Spot.
know, Jill.
Spock, Lincoln, Surak. Well, here's what
Spock,
I need.
Lincoln.
You're gonna have to find some bamboo. Then you're gonna have to find some coal, some diamonds, some sulfur.
Yeah. And who would I take out first? Colonel Green.
But this is also why I don't agree with the idea that these are accurate representations of the individuals. First things first, whenever they fight, no one uses a Vulcan neck pinch. BS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thing second,
that bothered me
Klingons,
too.
Yeah. I would have.
Klingons are more physically strong than humans, comparable to Vulcans, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah,
but that's
maybe.
because Gene Roddenberry only wrote half the episode and he
Yeah.
did
Yes.
not produce it. He didn't. If he were
Right.
also producer,
And
that
I agree. I wish that Spock had attempted to use it and it didn't work. Just show him attempting it, please.
right,
You
because
know?
it's a rock.
Yeah,
It
because
makes
these are
sense.
these are rock creatures in reality, and it doesn't work on them. You know, we can reason
Spock is
that out.
fighting Zora, and it's like
Right.
not even in an attempt.
Right. And that's one thing that frustrated me as a kid big time when I first saw this. It's like, come
Well,
on.
but then I'm also really upset about Surak. Did Surak know how to do a Vulcan neck pinch, or was that something that was attained through his teachings?
Rock throwing.
That's a great question. No, everybody only knows how to throw rocks. We just see Spock throwing lots of rocks in this episode.
Now, isn't that a
Getting
great
rocks thrown at him?
Isn't that a great camera angle for the people on the bridge to watch this contest?
Yes. But they did it in arena. I love how
but they
Jabba
did
the
it better.
Hutt is just
They
flailing,
did it.
being like, dance.
They did it better in arena, I thought.
Yes, of
better
course, but that
rocks.
was because of the practical
Because
effect.
because we got to be at Vasquez rocks.
Right, and the first thing we see is the Gorn. Sweet.
So I would like to say that both sides of good and evil believe that they are without sin, or at least the one who cast the first stone. I forget which side did that.
That was the other
That was
side.
the evil side. That was
Genghis
Khan. He threw the
See?
rock first.
That's
just
the guy
like
who
in real
without
life.
sin.
Just
Yeah.
like in real life, Genghis was the first to throw a rock.
Well, and
back
that's
then,
also something
in that particular look. I was
that's
there.
a cloud. That's a cloud that sort of hangs over. Is because, like, you've heard this the statistic. I don't know if it's rumor or old wives' tale, but that Genghis Khan, had so much of the baby making that we're all sort of connected to the Genghis. You've heard that.
Well, he might have had a lot. He might have had a lot of children, but
Maybe
maybe not
Yeah,
everybody. Everybody seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, that's
Well, no, not
yeah.
everybody, but like a lot of people. A lot of people are supposed to be descendants of the Genghis. Because I don't want to say Khan in a Star Trek show.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry about
Genghis
that.
Khan.
Well, see, that was the big missed opportunity, is that they had Khan and they didn't. Anyway,
Oh, they could have brought back Ricardo.
it would have. It might have worked.
Yeah, that would have been rather interesting. And forget Colonel Green. Let's have Khan. Well, wait a minute.
no.
Forget Genghis Khan too.
But I do appreciate the inclusion of Genghis Khan simply because, or not Genghis Khan, Colonel Green, simply because it is an expansion of the universe. And I think that that's
Right.
something that we're like, I enjoyed it. There is an expansion of the universe in this episode. And I think that that's something that when we look at it, everyone really likes what's going on. And then unfortunately, the end happens.
And then the end happens.
And then we were like, well, that was that, wasn't it?
I guess, Scotty, you didn't like it when they ran away.
No, I don't think that they ran away. I think that they said, you know what? We're not going to hook up with you, Excalibur. We think your representatives are jerks. You don't understand our philosophy. Keep your molten planet. Tell us when you have warp drive. So this is an exclusionary, like, to seek out new life and new civilizations may result in no. Sorry. You guys are weird.
Well, it's kind of like
nice seeing you, but we
it's
won't
like
see you again.
it's similar to wouldn't you say it's similar to Talos 4, where it's kind of a forbidden world to visit?
I think that Telosians are much more of, like, they're acquiring genetic material. Like, they are looking to propagate their species.
Yeah, for the
Species.
Telosians, they wanted to rebuild their world and to be able to,
Yeah.
make babies. And
The
things.
Excalbians are just like, hey, we want to learn about you. Do the thing that we just read your mind about,
And so this
and
would have made more
explain which
sense.
is better.
And so this whole episode would have made more sense if we would have gone with Jean's idea of saying that they're warriors and they just wanted to watch this happen like a TV show.
It's very much like the Telosians living through the illusions of others.
Well, what about
Exactly.
the nth degree with Reginald Barkley, where he's taken over by that probe and then drawn to, I forget the name of the googly eye people, but they're like Zatotians or something. But no, the ones who are drawn to the different galaxy through the power of Barkley's brain, this is what these guys are doing. They're just being like, show up, fight, tell us who's better.
Well, yeah, they can read minds and create images of what you're thinking. So that does qualify them as sort of godlike, even if they are mortal.
Anyway,
And
sorry, you can see that I'm
1-4 says Green also showed that a relatively modern human could have flaws, much the way Garth did.
Lord Goth. I'm Lord Goth.
The reluctant dragon is here. He
Yay. The
he
reluctant
does his
dragon.
greeting in Russian. Does anybody know how to pronounce that? Because he's told me like 100 times.
Oh, what that means?
This is for all the Chekhov fans.
You mean Nostrovia?
That's it.
It's basically saying hello.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Nostrovia.
Yes, I do know what it means because
it's just a greeting.
But
Well, I kind of figured that, but specifically, but yeah,
Barkley was an
Nostrovia.
underrated character. Agreed. I love Mr. Barkley.
And you'll see him this Friday on our First Contact review.
Yeah, Mr. Barkley. Yeah, he gets to nerd out about Zephyr Cochrane. It's great.
The fake Zephyr Cochrane.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I won't be there. I don't like that movie.
Oh, something I look forward to.
I love the Phoenix. The Phoenix wins me over.
I kid.
Well, then I will be there just to be a thorn in your side. No.
Hey, that's not bad. That sounds fun.
Ouch.
Ow.
It's my own way of saying hail in Russian. You say it's lame. It's not lame. It's unique. I know it's
cool.
I know it's you. I know it's you, Ivan, because you said it.
It's cool.
Well,
it's not lame.
Yeah, it's great. We got to check out what it means, and you educate people along the way. That's fantastic. That is Star Trek.
And Susan Dolan is most correct. Yeah, he was doing the hanky panky with Nichelle now and again. Oh yeah,
lucky.
And in his office at Desilu too.
Oh boy.
Okay, I don't need to know everywhere he did. Like in the ready room.
In the backseat of a Volkswagen.
That's in the Cushman book, is it not? Where it talks about.
Oh, I missed that chapter.
Yeah,
all right.
One of the production crew went in to talk to Gene, and Nichelle was there wearing just a sweater and nothing else.
Paint.
Anyway,
now that you guys
what
have
I want to do now is scout them out
dirty
and find their weaknesses and attack. Susan Dolan says, "Don't forget the hanky panky with Nichelle Nichols as well," and that's true. And she ended that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Can someone please find season 4 of the series, Scotty?
Yeah.
Oh, Spidey, that's so sad. No, there's. Well, I guess a lot of people say it's the animated series.
Yeah, it's the animated series, seasons 4 and 5, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and again, to give credit to Star Trek Continues, I think that it does a pretty good representation of what could have been. They do it in style, story, and tone.
Mm-hmm. They did a great job.
So big ups. Big ups to Star Trek Continues.
Harpo, my cat Harpo agrees, but right now I've got Chico with me, and he's more of a TNG fan.
Chico and a man.
That's how I was when I was younger too. And Calvin Weir says, "Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. That's her usual outfit."
Oh,
Sparkly
what are we referring to?
the
Oh,
Michelle.
Zora or Nichelle?
Means good health, says Franco.
Oh, Nostrovia means
Thank you,
good health.
Franco.
Tiger Stripes, hello.
Hey,
We're very lucky to get a third season of Star Trek. It was all due to Beajo Trimble's letter writing campaign. Yes, and thank goodness for that, because then it went to syndication and remained on everyone's mind until we finally got the animated series and the movies.
And don't forget those bumper stickers put on NBC executives'
Star
automobiles.
Trek lives.
And I grok Spock.
and don't forget about the fan films that kept it alive too.
Of course. Yeah, and
Yes.
of course Jim makes his own fan films.
Well, I'm talking about fan films that was made years ago.
Years and years ago, yeah.
I did catch that. But I was just paralleling.
And Jim continues the tradition.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. So Vulcan, so Surak decides that maybe the Excalbians are testing them to see if they will be peaceful rather than fight, and so he wants to try to make peace, like his people did, to stop all of the wars that were destroying his world. And yeah, so the captain knows that I have fought at his side, and I will do so again. However, I am a Vulcan bred to peace, so let him try it. It's his. He wants to do it anyway, so you can't really stop him. Basically, it's aggressive peace, and so of course we have Surak going off to test his peace, and I don't know. Booger414 says, my mother-in-law was at the first Star Trek convention in New York City. Hey, that's amazing. Is anybody here?
Yeah, that is amazing. I wish I was there. TV Guide actually did an article on that.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have loved to attend that. That would be cool.
That was my only, that's the only way I found out about it, was through TV Guide. It was interesting.
Sub Commander Tall says Barry Atwater as Surak had a look that always made me think of the comic character Namor the Submariner.
Oh, Namor, yeah.
Namor the Submariner.
Yeah.
Susan Dolan says how Majel Barrett found out about Nichelle as Roddenberry took Nichelle to Majel's house and didn't say anything after Majel opened the door. Needless to say, both were mad at him for a while.
Yeah, he wanted a three-way.
He probably did.
I don't know, but possible. It's possible. Useful, so.
And Stone Racket.
Come in peace to propose peace.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Oh, no, you can continue.
Well, I was saying that I overheard Stone Racket. We just got lunch from Suzanne, but Stone Racket said that Harpo is more of a TNG cat. Well,
no, Chico is the TNG cat. Harpo is the TOS cat.
The TOS cat. Okay, so here's an interesting sidebar to that. Both Deja Vu and Moon Pie are cats. When I was playing Assignment Earth with Gary Seven and his cat Isis, and when Isis would meow on the episode, both my cats perked up their ears because they're both female. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool sidebar. I every time I love watching that episode, I just in Gary Seven, and you see the cat, and my girls just go, whoop, their ears went up.
Yeah.
Like, there's another cat in the room. That's cool.
Yeah, the little teaser, the way it ends, with that dramatic music, and then Isis going, meow. Yeah, I love that episode. It's goofy. It doesn't quite work all the way, but it's got that cat, and I love it.
Oh, I like. Yeah, it's a great episode.
It's one of my top 25 for sure.
In this episode, Spock is crafting some weapons
Yep.
to use in defense against the evil.
The Colonel Green
People from
gang.
history. The Colonel Green. Oh, the Green Gang. I like
The
it.
Green
That's very
gang.
good.
Yeah. The gang green. I mean, yeah.
The Gang Green. Okay, well, we'll do a Powerpuff Girls podcast someday.
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah.
Kirk says they should rescue. Okay, so they should rescue Surak. Help me, Spock.
Help me,
Quick question.
Spock.
I have a
Please.
quick question in terms of these tactics and in terms of these weapons.
The
What is with
spears?
the spears? Spock is very well versed in stone knives and bearskins.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would be like they've got the rocks. I would be going hand to hand
Catapults.
combat with weapons.
Yep.
Like I would
Yeah.
be getting into a knife fight. And Kirk has
That would make
experience
more
with that
sense.
based on the Omega Glory. Like the entire the desire for projectile weapons, I think, is strange.
It is.
First
No.
things first.
But
Yeah,
If you
with
got
the- with
irrespective of the episode, I have to ask the entire panel and I have to ask the entire chat. If you were, let's say you're in an experience where you know that flesh can be pierced, which you don't in this particular instance, but let's get over that. Like, are you confident that you could throw a spear through somebody? I'm not. Do you think you could?
The Lincoln talks about using a sling. You know,
yeah,
a
slingshot
slingshot.
might be better.
And I'm like, why the heck didn't he do it?
Why?
I
Yeah, but
know,
what would
right?
you make it out of? You need leather for a sling.
Well, they said that there were materials on the planet that could make all different kinds of weapons, so they just had to be creative. But
You don't-
they
you
just
don't necessarily
teasing
need
us
leather. You
without
can-
actually showing.
How
He
else
could-
do you make a sling? If there is another way to make a sling, I would love to know it.
He could
could-
tear part of his coat.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Good point.
Yeah.
A glue
And-
tree if it's around.
And
Maybe
even
there's
what
a
was that,
cow
Jim?
that they can slaughter a husk.
What was that, Jim?
Anyway.
Some kind of glue tree, some kind of flexible tree that would kind of flex a little bit would be good.
Oh,
for
okay.
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
rubber
sure.
does come from.
Rubber, yeah.
Going back to the
yeah,
catapult.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A catapult like
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
And Jill, can you go back a couple frames because I really like the statement that Lincoln makes.
I do
this is
too. And even though this last half of the episode isn't as well written as the first half, I think Arthur does a good job with some of Lincoln's lines. Like,
Yeah, if you go back to
There's no honorable way to kill. There's nothing good in war except its ending.
yes, but the part where he said destroy, there was a part where he said, if you go back just to, it'll show you where he said about destroy. Yeah, there it is. There's no honorable way to kill, no gentle way to destroy. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's good writing right there. It really
Well,
is.
and
to
it
me.
was
So
it
true.
was a situation where people have actually incorrectly attributed this quote to the real Lincoln.
yeah, they did accidentally do that. Yes, this is right. He wrote that line. The recreation of Abraham Lincoln said this. It was never said by the real Lincoln, but on several websites, including Bella Online, the voice of woman, lists this as an authentic Lincoln quote. And others, I guess this has been other elsewhere on the internet also has spread this. So be careful
I
what you
thought
do.
that this line could also apply. Don't forget the Vietnam War was going on at that time too, during that time. So
Mhm.
this could very well.
Oh, for sure. And that's a common
Well,
theme
speaking
throughout
of
all
that-
of Star Trek is because the
Yeah.
war was occurring during the filming of this episode. And so it was definitely on the minds of the writers. quite a
Most
bit.
definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
And
yes.
and this also reminds me of Star Trek Generations, where the main villain says, time is the
Is the
fire
stalker.
is the fire in which we burn, and
Fireworks
people
are worse.
attribute it to Star Trek, but it's not. It's from a poem. It's from another poem, so they took it from a poem, but people misquote it as being from that, and so you got to be careful with your quotes and know
Well,
your
again,
sources.
just to
Yeah, I thought
build
that
on that, because
Sure.
there is revenge is a dish best served cold. That is even at the beginning of Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1. It says old Klingon proverb. That is a Sicilian proverb.
And
It's
yeah,
also from
exactly.
Shakespeare.
Mhm.
It's also from Shakespeare
Mhm.
in a
I didn't
form
know
of
Shakespeare was
Shakespeare.
Italian.
No. Shakespeare originally said in a form of that a revenge is a dish best served cold and heartless. It was in
Ooh.
Shakespeare. It was said that way.
And
So-
I
Hamlet.
always
In Hamlet, yeah.
attributed it to Sicilians. So that was
Well,
wrong too.
it's the old Shakespeare, you know,
The Shakespeare paradox, my
the
favorite
Shakespeare
episode.
paradox.
Well, don't
Or is
forget
this-
William Shakespeare is William Shatner is Shakespearean trained, so he came from the same school. You know,
And
you go.
other quotes that Lemon Pie cites the incredible Abraham Lincoln quote that said, "Trust me, I'll be in Star Trek."
I'm in Star Trek.
Well, this is the best of what Arthur does in this episode. I do enjoy those lines.
I do too.
But everybody's running around with spears, and I do agree with Scotty that why spears? They could have been.
I
a little
couldn't
more creative.
throw. I would not, and I don't care how awesome you think you are. I do not trust that anyone here could throw a spear to actually puncture skin if you had carved it with a stone, and then just like I've never thrown a spear before. What do? I don't know, like a javelin, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
it
I
would have
saw
made more sense if they made
Apocalypto.
wooden
How
swords.
dare you, Scotty? Don't
Are
never
you a
underestimate.
spearsman?
No, never underestimate the Kirk.
No.
I know
in
you're
this
talking about the
instance-
panel, but I'm just focusing on.
But
the
instead,
Kirk.
we throw rocks and we throw spears.
Yeah.
And
But that's what I'm
that's-
saying.
All right, there we
And
go.
also-
carve the rocks into stones, and then go and get stabby.
Oh yeah, but
also-
also arrows. They could have made
Also,
arrows.
Yeah.
not only do they not follow through with the Lincoln sling, they also don't follow through with the
With
Vulcan
the
boomerang.
I know.
like-
I wanted to see the boomerang
Because
The
in
Vulcan
Outer
boomerang.
Limits, the Calco alien, the male Calco alien had a boomerang. It was awesome.
Well,
Everybody,
it's just
have you seen that episode of Outer Limits Fun and Games with the Calco reptilian alien with his super boomerang?
I
Well,
will.
that
I
would have
will
been
seek
cool
it
to
out.
see. Well, see,
Don't come like, and then he turns into a flagpole from a Looney Tunes cartoon.
well, yeah,
Um,
his death was supposed to be a little more violent, but of course the networks, the censors, and also there was a disappointment from Barry Atwater because he was looking forward to having a death scene as Serac because he knew he was going to die. But then because he says every actor lives to die, and I guess that's a thing that a lot of actors say, but it turns out, of course, that he just ends up having died off camera, and so that was disappointing for him. Apparently, he
he
felt
just slumps to the side.
yeah.
But then this
Yeah,
is such a
right.
ridiculous thing for Lincoln as well, where he walks out, and then he
Well, his
just
very
falls
last
face
thing is to
forward.
warn them, not
Yeah.
to come closer.
But it's like, I don't know, it's a dramatic thing that I think was wasted.
Well, he has to tell them that Serac died, so they know it is folly to try to save him again.
So anyway, it's 4 against 2.
I'm not really trying to defend it. I'm just saying what happened.
No, I'm trying to defend it. So anyway, it's 4 against 2. And they fight, and it is quite literally itchy and scratchy. And I
But
know
the
we
only
can't
thing
play
that
the-
makes sense about it is that the real Lincoln was also taken out from behind.
Yeah, but dab it do. The problem with that is okay, so we've killed Serac, we've killed Lincoln. So
Mhm.
Kirk and Spock are at a disadvantage simply because they are new to the test and they have their 2 Jiminy Crickets. They're fighting 4 evil forces. The Excalibans think it's on par and equal. It is not. And then we lose the 2 Jiminy Crickets for Kirk and Spock, and now it is 4 against 2. They fight, and then what?
You don't have to worry about it. The episode ran out of time, and so the bad guys decided to run away.
Yeah, they ran away.
Why? I don't know. Evil retreats when forcibly confronted. Is
Because
the
evil is
excuse.
cowardly, I guess. Like, I guess that's the
But I
moral
don't.
of the story.
I don't.
Like,
I don't get it either.
Did Kirk kill Colonel Green? Because that would have
Oh
gone
yes,
against.
yes. Okay, so he does. He does kill Colonel Green.
Are you sure?
I think that maybe that's what. Okay, so Kirk and Spock continue to fight, even though Serac and Lincoln die. And then, right, you're like you said, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
Green and Kalis attack.
And it's a cage
you know,
match.
they're throwing rocks, they're throwing spears.
Mm-hmm.
And Khan is dueling with Spock, and Zora attacks Kirk. And he at least it seems like Kirk is overpowering Zora at the very least. And then Kalis is dueling Kirk. This is like they're just fighting. They fight.
Anyway, they run off in the end, except for Colonel Green, who is wrestled.
I should have asked you.
Death.
This is one of those times where I should have asked you to do a play-by-play for this particular.
Oh
thing.
no, I couldn't. This is like describing a mosh pit.
It is. Okay.
But anyway, so I don't understand the resolution of this battle. Hey, look, it's Excalibur.
Yeah, that's the Calco alien from the Outer Limits episode, Fun and Games, and with his boomerang.
Oh, that's cool.
And of course, looking at the headpiece, you recognize the creature from the Cage. That they utilize the basic mask for that creature. That when the Telosian turns into the creature when he's trying to get Pike to release him. It has a lot of red fur they added, and they changed the eyes. But this is the basic. This is the original sculpt mask that was sculpted by Hua Chang.
That's a great find, man. That's great.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's when Pike was strangling him, right? And he turned into a big beast monster.
And you see it in the uncut episode. You do see it in its cage earlier in the episode.
True.
In its cage.
Okay.
Yes, in the cage.
Ironic, isn't it? Don't you think?
Get in your cage now.
Okay, so the transcript for this episode often describes what's happening on screen, so I'm going to see if it has the fight to see what happened to Colonel Green.
Okay,
so here it is. This is from Chakotaya.net, who I use it's fan created transcripts of the episodes that are great. And so they say, Lincoln finally topples Ford, a big spear in his back. Now the close fighting begins with Green letting his associates do the hard work. Zora runs off. Kirk deals with Kalis and helps Spock with Khan. The bad guys retreat. Kirk chases and catches Green, who ends up falling on his own dagger.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Oh, is that how? That's the explanation.
Yeah.
Okay.
He falls on his own dagger. The old fall on the own dagger trick.
Yeah.
That's how your hero gets out of jail free. Is as long as your adversary dies by their own hand.
Right. So Green ends up impaling himself, and Kalis was somehow defeated, and so the bad guys run away because they see that
run away.
But, Jill, did they ever
Yes.
really say how they killed Kalis, or did they even say they killed him?
No, they didn't kill
He
him.
ran away.
I don't know. He just ran away.
Just ran away.
Well, and also,
Mhm.
I would like to specifically point out that after this hypothetical falling on one's dagger occurred, Kirk stands up from behind the rock and he's got sand coming from his fists, which I thought, and I was like, okay, he's dead, I guess. But I
Yeah.
thought it was an interesting either direction or acting choice, where it was like, okay, that how are we going to explain that he's dead? And
Hey, Scotty R37, you're back, but you're not back on your avatar.
oh my god!
And I am
Station.
not showing these slides. So I better
That's
Let's
also
go.
true. We have to finish. See, that's the worst part of this episode. Is
There's the
last 10
Admiral.
minutes.
Yes, the
Hey,
Admiral
Ro.
comes in
Right
and
here.
solves the whole problem with oh, sorry.
He does. Thank you. Well, and Colonel Green is the final character to die on screen in the original series.
Doesn't but he doesn't die on screen.
Oh, well, we don't see it happen.
Yes, we
Yes,
see it
I don't
happen.
remember.
He falls on his
Yeah,
knife.
he
He
falls on
stops.
his.
He
falls
stops
on his
moving,
knife,
and
yeah.
Kirk
I
gets
just
up.
didn't get a
and
clip.
that's-
I just didn't
yeah.
get a slide of it.
Yeah.
But I
All right.
do realize I have chat, but I'm getting close to the end of the episode, and when I do that, I like to get there and let's review it, and then we'll go to see what the chat's doing after that. And Yarnek has been okay. So Yarnek says what he's learned from this endeavor, which is not much.
Right.
Agreed.
He says, "You are the survivors. The others have run off." Wait a minute. Who wants to be the Rock? I'm not good at being the Rock.
Can I be the rock lobster?
Yes, you can be Yarnek. Yes.
Okay.
I want to be Yarnek. No.
Well,
No. Scotty asked
Oh.
first, so go ahead, Scotty.
thank you. You are the survivors. The others have run off. It would seem that evil retreats when forcibly confronted. However, you have failed to demonstrate to me any other difference between your philosophies. Your good, your evil use the same methods and train whistles to achieve the same results. Do you have an explanation?
Your good and
We
evil
agree,
use the same methods, achieve the same results. Do you have an explanation?
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't accept it, but
Well,
whatever.
okay,
Move
so
on.
but I guess the main thing is that the evil fights for power and the good fights for others. And that's all.
Would be kind of gracious to let my stupid performance to stand on its own, make fun of it, and then move on.
The need
What's
to
it made
do-
fun of? I'm sorry. What happened? Hey,
that you
Nothing.
may
Stoner.
go in
Nothing.
peace.
Just someone
What?
stepping on my performance, and
I
whatever.
thought it was great. I thought it was really
I
great.
thought it was okay. I've never played a rock lobster before.
You got to pinch your nose and go for it.
Well,
Do the
that's what I do. That's what I do when you perform your rock lobster.
Oh, my.
Oh, this means
All right,
war.
There we go.
I'm
Okay.
I'm getting my
Good night.
rocks and my wood spears ready, Scotty.
Okay, but
Well,
Scotty is
yeah,
gonna
moving
make
on.
he's
Moving
gonna
on.
make knives and swords because he's
Uh-oh.
definitely not gonna deal with spears. So
The ship is
Oh no, I'm
functioning
gonna bring the
well.
beer.
oh
Spear. You
oh
said spear.
oh beer. No, Scotty is gonna be like Surak. He's gonna try for peace with beer.
So
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
die, but Lincoln's gonna try and rescue me, and then ultimately Kirk and Spock are gonna go back and have a sitcom ending.
I think
all good now.
Scotty would use Scottish whiskey, don't you think, Jill, for a sit down? Let's have some whiskey.
Green whiskey.
Well,
Let's have some
Aldebaran
scotch.
whiskey.
well, I have a few clips for that.
Let's go.
Green.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
What can I do for you, Jim?
I said, give me the brandy.
Give me the brandy.
See, that was.
I think you did a little too much LDS.
LDS.
I like
LSD,
it,
That's still a
Captain.
great line. Yeah, that's still a great line from Star Trek 4.
Can we finish this episode quickly, please? Because this is when
I'm
everything
sorry, I
goes
got a little too
off
excited.
the
with
rails.
Whee!
I got a little too excited with the drug clips.
Hey,
Those were
Spock,
good.
you remember when we were on the planet and everyone was trying to kill me? Yes, I do remember that, Captain, but wasn't it fun to meet Lincoln and Surak? Oh, yes, it was better than going to a Taylor Swift concert. Anyway, we should move on, as I recommended at the beginning of this episode.
But we have to wait 30 minutes because warp. Warp's gonna take 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then
We were
that 30
held.
minutes.
No, Spock does have an explanatory. He says we were held in the power of the creatures able to control matter and to rearrange molecules in whatever fashion they desired. So they were able to create images of Surak and Lincoln
May I
after
suggest
scanning our
something?
minds. After scanning our minds and using their fellow creatures as source matter. And not only that, they were also able to make the ship explode on a timer in 4 hours. But yeah,
May I suggest something in terms of the technology of Star Trek: The Next Generation? Is that I think that the ability to transmogrify matter may have been assisted by the sensor scans of this particular mission of the Enterprise.
Oh, that is
Like even
I
in
like
terms
that
of
idea.
even in terms of, because a lot of the sensor scans that would allow for that were made through the transporter room. And so for one moment, it was a rock, and then it turned into a man. I have no idea how this happened. So anyway, they take those logs, they send it back to Memory Alpha or wherever, Starfleet Science, and then they're like, holy crap, I don't know how they did it, but I know how we can do it.
That's a
And
lovely
so,
theory. I would like it.
well, it may also have contributed to the idea of the replicator in terms of the deuteronium being able to made into a chocolate sundae.
Oh, chocolate.
I know, right?
Yes.
Easter is still with us.
It is.
Remember that episode
I
of
have
Star
some
Trek when there
chocolate
was
now.
an Easter bunny?
Yeah, no, that was great. I really love Shore Leave, and that was a great time. Oh no. That means it's time to review this episode. So let's see what order we want to do that in. And you described the ending of this episode perfectly, Scotty. So there we go. There we have it. But I do want to mention one thing from the Cushman book. Film editor Bill Brame. He worked on The Cloudminders, The Savage Curtain. He worked on 8 episodes. And so I just wanted to mention him because this is the first time I've ever noticed his name. But he's worked on some Star Trek, and then he goes on to help Gene Roddenberry with Pretty Maids All in a Row.
Yeah.
And he became a favorite editor of Irwin Allen, working on Blood and Fire and Beyond, The Poseidon Adventure.
And I'll say it again, as I've said it before, and I think that Stone Racket would be on board for this, but we certainly have to review that movie. As a product of Gene Roddenberry, I am fascinated by it.
And I appreciate something that Heinemann says. He says he regretted that his association with the series had only begun with the 3rd season. As a frequent viewer, he was well aware of the differences between season 1, 2, and 3. He said when Gene Kuhn left, much of the quality of the original show was lost. When Freddie Freiberger took over, I felt I was being cheapened. I felt it was being cheapened. The ideas during the 3rd year weren't as good, and it seemed as though he didn't care as much. I don't want to say anything against him because he's a nice guy, but he always seemed frantic and I couldn't tell why. My feeling was that when he was in his frantic moments, he would make decisions that might be wrong. And so that, I think that was an interesting commentary from someone who wrote the second half of this episode, who had to take Gene's half script and expand it. And
Well,
so,
it sounded like me. It sounded like he was describing me.
well, speaking of you, please review this episode and tell us what you think of it.
Oh man, I was so looking forward to giving this like an A minus, and then when it was itchy and scratchy on the planet, it turned into Arena and Spectre of the Gun, and I was seeing all of this, and every time something popped up, and then even the lack of the Vulcan neck pinch, it did get a little bit of a boost with eject the warp nacelles, and I was like, they can do that? That's
Oh
rad.
yeah, I forgot about that. That's true.
Like everything about this episode was balanced until the last 10 minutes when it was like, have you ever been to a Comic-Con? I know, right? This is the first time that we got to meet our heroes. Anyway, are we done with the battle to the death? Yes, we are, Captain. Let's get out of here. Anyway, C+.
Fair enough. Thank you, Scotty. And Jim, what do you give this episode?
Well, this brings back some memories when I was 6 years old and I first watched this episode. I mean, I absolutely believe that Abraham Lincoln was still around. He was alive. But of course, when he got killed, I actually cried because of him dying again, as Captain Kirk said. But I gave it an A+. I mean, it's a good episode. I liked it. I still watch it over and over again. You know, you got aliens that's trying to destroy us all the time, and we always get on top and win every time, every episode. So, and that's my report.
Well, thank you so much, Jim, and I really appreciate you giving us the perspective of from when you were a child watching this for the first time, because that is what we can bring that's unique to these reviews. So
yeah, but I'm a child. Why doesn't everyone?
And well, I still like your C+ is good too, Scotty. You're 37. Well, but I mean, you watched it when you were a child too. So, do you remember the first time watching Savage Curtain?
Don't let me interrupt. I'm interrupting.
No, you're not. No, it's fine. But I do appreciate it. Thank you, Jim.
Thank
you. Pop culture curator.
I'd give this episode, I'd say a B. I did enjoy it. I like the cast. Yes, it's a third season episode, and that shows. But I do appreciate it. It had a lot of wonderful ideas, a lot of iconic scenery, a lot of iconic characters. And I do also remember watching it as a kid, and I enjoyed it very much. But thank you for having me here, Jill. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for giving us your perspective and helping me out when I needed it. You're always so good here. So Stone Rocket, what do you say?
I gave this episode a B. It's a kind of a guilty pleasure. It's an episode that kind of fizzles out completely at the end, but it has, like Pop said, a lot of iconic characters and scenes, and the performances carry this episode, the guest stars especially, and I just it's one of my favorites from the third season. It's in my top 10 list of third season Star Trek episodes, and I enjoyed it when I first saw it. It's one of the few third season episodes I got to watch when it was brand new, when it premiered, and I've always enjoyed this episode because of Abraham Lincoln in space and Yarnak, a silicon-based life form, and he's cool, even though he's causing a lot of mischief for our Enterprise crew members. But yeah, it's a solid B for me.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they just should have left a buoy saying, "Hey, don't go near this planet. They're gonna really mess around with you."
Yeah, and if you could share, I've got something to share real quick. There's Chico on my lap, and it's a little blurry in the background, but there's your live stream in the background.
Nice.
Unfortunately,
That's so
it's
cool.
Fred Freiberger Brain's credit on the screen there, but there's Mr. Chico
Very
on my
nice.
lap and my ratty desk and my little Mac Mini there you can see. And
Well, hi,
Poor
Chico.
pussy. Poor
And
pussy cat.
speaking of saying hello, the Outcast Creative is here just in time to give his overall review of this
Hello.
episode.
Sorry,
Yeah, welcome.
sorry,
And
I'm
Mikey, I'll get
extremely
you
late, Captain.
last. I gotta say hello to Lance from the Outcast Creative. No, you're just on time because this is the part of the review where we give our overall opinion of the episode.
Yeah, was on a deadline for work. I actually had you guys on in the background. I literally just finished 2 minutes ago, so I thought, well, I could pop on. The thing that's notable for me about this episode is that it was my introduction as a child to Abraham Lincoln. Because when I saw this episode, which would have been on a rerun in the 70s, up to that point, I hadn't seen a portrayal of Abraham Lincoln in anything, nor had I watched any history programs about him. So I had no idea who he was. So this episode of Star Trek taught me who he was. So,
wow, that's so cool.
That's
well,
why I always
and just
remember
like some people learned the Constitution from Omega Glory.
I mean, it was quite weird at the beginning because I was thinking, why is there an old man with a beard floating in space who looks like he's from Victorian times? What's going on? What's happening? You know.
And so, what grade? What if you were to grade it from A to F, what would you?
Probably kind of C plus. You know.
Yay!
The middle of the road episode for me that I think somebody said is. The performances carry it. Whoever said that, I have watched it pretty recently. I've watched all the old episodes fairly recently, and it is carried by the actors. This episode, it's not the best script on the planet. The kind of alien thing, the reveal at the end is a bit overused, I think, by season 3. But yeah, it's all right. It's it's got some fun moments.
Yeah. And you got
It's
a bird
a
of
third
prey.
of a good script.
That's cool. In your avatar. I'm just distracted by that.
That's
but
a
yes,
Klingon.
thank you so
That's a
much.
Klingon D7 from the TV series.
Very nice.
So that's that's one of the very old first ones.
Well,
I do have. I've got the Bird of Prey D7 as well, actually.
Well, I'm so happy you're here, and I'm gonna get the review from Lance, and then we'll talk a little more. I mean, from Mikey. Mikey,
Yeah, no.
what do you grade this episode?
Well, first of all, I want to say on behalf of you, Jill, and the illustrious panel, thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this particular episode, which, like I said, it is in my top 5 all time of TOS episodes. I absolutely love it. The background I come from is when this first premiered right in 1969, I was less than 4 years old. But the one thing that stood out for me early on when I first saw it was that rock creature. It scared the death out of me. You see this thing that's
rock
turning into
lobster.
Rock lobster, right? You see him turn into, with his eyes lit up and everything, and you were just freaking out. If you're a little kid and you're less than 5 years old, you're afraid of the screen. You're kind of backing off and going, "Oh, this is a scary creature." Once I got older and I watched it in syndication. And that was my first experience. I agree with Lance. That was my first experience with Lincoln as a person, as a figurehead. And later on in school, one of my favorite things that I love to study about in American history was the American Civil War. So when I went back and watched this episode a couple times, I loved it because in the fact that you could take a look at Lincoln from this episode, apply some of the things he mentioned about as far as like peace and so on, and then you apply it to his Emancipation Proclamation, which Jill and I both agreed, which is a huge document in history. And you were like, yeah, it's very cool. I gave this an A- grade. I really enjoyed it, and I still do. Like I say, it's every time I want to see it because I want to see Abe Lincoln float in space. I want to see him, come up with great battle tactics, even though you think, well, he was a solemn president, didn't do a whole lot. Well, he did say he sent over 100,000 men to their deaths. So you got to see different sides of Lincoln that most people probably didn't want to see, but then they got to go in, study history, and say, "Oh, okay, then that's what Lincoln was about," and how he was able to save the Union, and
you got to see him wrestle too.
and I got to see him fight. Yeah, that's
Yep.
pretty cool. And he didn't lose his hat. Did you know that? Notice that? He didn't lose the stovepipe. Excuse me.
He didn't.
Stovepipe hat.
He
That's true.
absolutely did. He absolutely did lose his stovetop
Not
pipe.
initially.
Yeah, not
initially,
initially,
though.
but
Only
when
he
they
hit the
get into
ground.
the big brawl, I was like, are they going to keep it on? Is this going to be an Indiana Jones situation? And the first thing they did was pop off the top hat. So I did appreciate that, and also
Okay,
the
yes.
stunt doubles looked great in HD.
They did, and on the fight scenes were wonderful, and with the archaic weapons, like we're not using steel weapons, we're using the spikes and the makeshift weapons. Yeah, it just made it for me. It made it an overall great experience, and I have to admit, when I saw Lincoln die, I cried too. I did. So
The first time or the second time?
It was the second time when I saw it in syndication. Because the first
So you
time,
didn't
like I said,
mind,
I was only
you
4
didn't
years old,
mind
so I
the
didn't
initial
understand.
assassination?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. So thank you, Jill. I
Oh,
thank
you're
you so
4
much
years
for
old
bringing
the
me on
first time
board.
you saw it. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool.
Mikey, I was 4 years old when I saw the Calco alien on Outer Limits, and I thought he was really cool.
Oh yes, very cool.
And so Gene Roddenberry had to leave, but Star Trek is his baby, so he had to give us something, and he gave us something that has elements that have endured through the rest of Star Trek. This is like the greatest hits compilation of several different Star Trek episodes that portrayed some of the maybe those episodes portrayed ideas a little better than this one, but I find it I enjoyed this episode because it's great to show it in this story format, and it's much better than having a boring clip show with montages and things. So this one tries to do so. It tries to say something new, and so of course, since Gene didn't write the entire script, I think what he was trying to say got a little bit lost. But it's the attempt that I love. I think that even though the main people that are supposed to make Star Trek aren't there anymore, the people who are left, they're still giving it a try, and I appreciate the attempt here. And since Gene just wrote parts of the script, we don't have the finishing touches we would have got from Gene L. Kuhn, Dorothy Fontana, Bob Jessman, and all of them. If they were there, this would have been even better. But as it stands, I think it's still a strong episode. So I do give this one a B. From Arena, we have the attempt at peace through Surak instead of Kirk, and it has the lasting trope of Kirk resorting only to violence just because, to save the ship. He's got to save the 400 souls that he commands. So I can't say that he's out of character this week like I did last week. So that was nice to see. We had a reminder of risk is our business, and Gene also wanted to put that little commentary for TV's glorification of violence, like bread and circuses and gamesters and stuff. But of course, Freddie kind of took that away, making all the fighting seem a little more pointless, especially just as Scotty was saying, it's just a bunch of itchy and scratchy is a great way to describe it.
I will fight you to every extent in regards to your idea that James Kirk is out of character in Requiem for Methuselah.
I know you will.
Yeah,
so I won't accept your argument, is what I'm saying. But I think that this is better. I think this is better than Requiem for Methuselah.
It is.
I'm with you, Scotty, with Kirk out of character. It's with Requiem. Requiem, it was just too much of a story to be confined to a 1-hour episode, and we had to just run with the fact that he does fall in love with the android.
Reina. Yeah, but it's also
Reina.
very interesting.
I blanked on the name. Thank you.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But it's interesting that in Requiem for Methuselah, the time limit was 4 hours. And in Savage Curtain, what's
4
the time
hours.
limit? 4 hours.
And
4
yeah, I know.
hours.
Right
What is
after
the
Kirk says,
obsession with 4 hours.
right after Kirk says that's not how they measure time anymore. Oh yeah, hours. Yes, we use those. And
Oh, we have those.
and okay, so anyway, we have this highly advanced culture leaning towards godlike powers, very similar to Trelane's, and being able to replicate matter from other components, and mysteriously changing the engineering of the ship to make it blow on a timer. So they're definitely godlike, despite possibly being mortal. I really don't know how long these creatures live. And of course,
Well,
Gene took this chance to. My favorite part of this episode is that Gene took this chance to expand the lore of Star Trek as a whole with Kalis and Serac, who have remained important figures for Star Trek throughout its entire history. And
Hey,
so,
Jill.
yeah, so all the right pieces were there, but it kind of lost it at the end, and so it could have been an A, but as it stands, I give it a B.
Hey, Jill, when you mentioned Trelane, would you have
Mhm.
given this episode an A if Yarnek's parents had showed up and scolded him?
Yes.
I would have too, yeah. If you had rock creatures that appeared out of nowhere and said, Yarnak, you need to leave.
Yeah.
That would have topped.
Well, and also, like,
so good.
as much, I give this episode a C plus, but I would give Zora the D.
Well, and beyond that, I do want to look at the differences between the remaster and the original.
You
And
guys
I
are
have this
such
here.
a tough room.
Forget Zora. Raina is human.
We're talking about this episode. If I
Yeah,
talk
I know.
about all the ladies that I would
But
give the D to,
but the thing is, at the beginning you said she was ugly. So, but
she
now
is ugly, but she's
Yeah.
the only one on this planet, and she's not made of rock.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Maybe
She
her
is a
lady
rock.
bits her lady bits are made of magma. Maybe it
She
would
is
be
a rock.
yeah,
fool's
exactly.
errand.
No, see, you need you don't.
A
Speaking of
kryptonite condom?
Speaking of the only lady on
Like I'm saying, man,
planet.
like I think I'm too.
Ooh.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Somebody's D.
I like green women.
Let's check out the poll and see how many people wanted to give this a D.
Let's see what the poll
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good idea. But first, I wanted to look at the screen. Stop the screen.
Yeah.
Start the screen.
Totes.
All right. Here's the difference between the remaster and the
Did they
original.
actually? You know what?
Oh,
That
that
would
was
be
it.
interesting.
There wasn't much difference.
No, but like the fact that they
That's it.
actually in the
We did
original
it.
special effects made the greenery of the planet. I didn't think that was a thing that they did. I would love to go back and see the original special effects and see how they did that.
So they just changed the look of the planet. Was that all they changed?
Yes.
Basically.
Well, mostly.
Well, that's what I like too. It's because of the volcanicness. They said with all the lava and things like that. That's what I think the remake made it more prominent that it was a lava type planet. They got used to that. So
You're a lava type planet.
Well, here's our poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, please do so now. I will be closing it soon. How would you rate the Savage Curtain? 40% give it an A, 45% B range, and 15% a C, and nobody gives it an F, which is
Nobody
monumental
gives
for a
it
season
the
3
D.
episode.
Nobody gives it
the
the D.
D.
Yeah.
Good. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, not everybody is enamored with Zora as you.
I fall in love easy with genetic terrorists.
I hate to interrupt you, Miss Jill, but I actually have a stream for myself here and Jay coming up in about 8 minutes. Can I go ahead and just quickly let you guys know that what I got going on the rest of the week?
Absolutely. Yes, you may. Let me
Okay.
get you set
All
up
right.
here.
Yeah.
Go for
Oh,
it.
there we go. Hello, guys. This is Mikey Seuss4. Just letting you guys know that in about 8 minutes from now, we're going to be having our review of course, the A-Team, the greatest action series of the 1980s, in my humble opinion. And we are reviewing season 1, episode 8, which is The Out of Towners, which guest stars Yaphet Kotto, who played Kananga and Mr. Big on Live and Let Die. with Roger Moore. Also, we have tomorrow, we have a webcam about The Greatest American Hero, which is the next best series before 18 came around, with Lupo and Janelle, who wrote it, and of course, William Catt and Connie Selica, and of course, Bill Culp. Great stuff, and I'll be doing the season 1, episode 1 of that first review of the series, 3 seasons. Then on Thursday, yes, right. And then Thursday, Jay and I come back. We do a review of Shazam and ISIS, those live action shows you guys got to see as kids back on Saturday mornings, with Joanna Cameron as ISIS, and of course, I forget the other guy, but he's played Billy Batson. And Jay will give his Shazam review of every episode each week, and I'll give my reviews of the ISIS. So that's gonna be fun.
So are you a part of ISIS?
Am I a part of ISIS? No, but
are you just an ISIS fan?
I'm an ISIS fan. I love the secrets of ISIS.
No, you can't say that. You cannot say that.
I did too.
Let's move on.
Like, remember, there was an ISIS and Archer.
Mikey is a fan of Joanna Cameron, as I am.
Well, there you go.
And Mikey, she was hired because the producers loved her great legs.
I agree. She was a
record tape show, although never generally revealed.
Oh, yeah, I like that ISIS even more.
Anyway,
you guys are ridiculous.
Jill, before Mikey goes, I've got something to show him relevant to his stream. Can you put my camera on?
Two last things. I'll be on Netter's Network.
Check that out, buddy.
Hey, there you are, Outcast. I'll be on Netter's Network on Thursday night with Netter's 13 Things. She's going to be interviewing me at 10 p.m. Eastern. Please check that out. And then on Friday, we bring back our topic time. Topic time number 9 this week, which will be at 8 p.m. Eastern starting with me and Jay. And it is open panel, open chat, so you guys can come by. We're going to be talking about nostalgia in general. I mean, we'll be talking about old ads, old commercials, things you guys loved, old shows, shows that kids grew up with, like Captain Kangaroo, Romper Room, the Electric Company, and so forth. So hope you guys check that out this week. Thank you, Joe.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Mikey, for sharing what you thought about this episode today. It was so good to have you on and talk about one of your favorite
and your views on ISIS.
And ISIS.
All right.
Stop repeating. I am making things worse.
You are. No, it's fine. We're all having fun here, and I hope you had a good time. And I'll see you around.
Yeah, it was great having you, Mikey. It was great having you.
It was great seeing you guys, and thank you, Jill. Thank you, Pop. Thank you, Jim, Scotty, Jay, Lance. And Stone Racket. Thank you, guys, and chat. Thank you, chat. I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah,
all right, I am off. Take care, guys.
Bye, Mikey. Bye-bye. Take care.
Have a great Tuesday.
My grandmother got me that A-Team vinyl soundtrack for a Christmas present.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Man, when I was a kid, I got Face, Hannibal, Madman Murdoch, and B.A. Baracus. I got the action figures. I even got the lady. I forget her name. And my parents also got me the van. They were my G.I. Joe set of the 1980s. I adore the A-Team. And
do you still have those, Scotty? Do you still have them?
No, I sold them.
Oh, that's too bad.
And when I sold them, I mean, I lost them in many, many life changes. So, no, they're gone to the ages.
And James Caserta says,
yeah.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
What of Lazarus?
He's a man of few words.
No, Jill's looking for she's looking for the video.
So Sub-Commander Tall says, in my time, we are not of Earthmen. I am pleased to see we have differences. May we together become greater than the sum of both of us. Great line, very Roddenberry-ish. And I agree
Agreed.
Yep.
completely.
Totally.
That's why I didn't get to make mini clips today, but that's one that I did get. And I thought, wait, where is it? Where's my Sirac?
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that also.
Barry Atwater really did a great job as Sora.
Sure did.
And the template of Sirac, and I do appreciate his gravitas.
Too.
The image of Sora.
Nerve pinch. Ahem.
Yeah, that's
Nerve pinch. Yeah. It don't work on rocks.
Try. Yeah, but at least try. And then fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
at
give it a
least
go.
show him trying and failing, and maybe say something to Kirk about it real quick after the scuffle. Lemon. Hey, Lemon.
So,
oh, you guys, I meant to share what James Caserta said, and I didn't share it properly. I just realized. So here it is.
Lazarus. And what of Lazarus?
Of course. What of Lazarus?
There it is. There you are, James Caserta. I meant to do that before.
One of my least favorite episodes from the first season.
Yeah, I know. That's actually my least favorite episode of all time.
Dear.
An episode that I hate more.
Yeah, and The Children Shall Lead and The Way to Eden. I can't stand those, but
Wait,
I will watch. I would watch Alternative Factor over those any day.
Those are big
Well,
contenders.
you know, everyone has an opinion, but what's it like for yours to be wrong?
I am Stone Racket. I am always
No,
right.
he was agreeing with us, I thought. But anyway.
No, he said
James
he likes What of Lazarus, and that is
Oh, he
like
did?
I
didn't
I
get that.
enjoy being a gatekeeper, and if there are like if on your business card you're like, no, I'd rather watch the Alternative Factor over, let's say, Way to Eden. Well, I think you're wrong. So I appreciate your opinion, but as long as you understand that it is incorrect, we can continue forward.
I am correct.
Well, I am Kirok. So
I am Stone Racket.
Yeah, you're I believe a poor pussy.
What does it say under my name?
Everybody entitled to an opinion.
OG Trekker. I was there.
Well, I didn't
so
know
there.
I needed a diploma.
Double dumbass on you.
I'm Alan Partridge.
Please reach, brother.
Because you were alive, you win.
Yes.
You're alive.
The only
first.
reason you are correct is because you're old. Fantastic.
I am an original Trekker.
So am I.
And so is Jim.
I mean, I would have.
And so is Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And the three of us against the Scotty. Yes. No.
Well,
Let's
that's
get him.
fair.
That isn't fair. Actually, because Scotty started with Star Trek. He got there as soon as he could. He was just 3.
Yeah.
As soon as I could.
When someone says that my subjectivity is wrong, that's quite an insult.
Well, but it's just hopefully
it's a playfulness.
Not really. You're mean.
Why
You're a
don't
meanie. You're a big meanie.
Well,
everybody's entitled.
You're
to
a pussy.
opinion.
No,
Based
I'm
on
a
your
stone
avatar.
racket. I'm a stone racket.
Hey,
and my
I'm just
avatar.
talking about the cat.
My avatar is a cat.
Uh-huh. Okay, dial back, guys.
Go ahead, Jill.
See, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
Hell's yeah.
I will not say
anymore.
anymore.
I'm gonna make a better clip of that where Hero's S at the end of words is not clipped out. I'm gonna do better on that one because it deserves to be done right.
Do better.
I will.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
So the Reluctant Dragon says Shakespeare was very literate in an Italian dramatic fashion. That's one of the reasons so many of his plays take place in Italy. So there you go. Well, there's an explanation for that. Hey, chat. Thanks so much for being here. Jill, Antiderivative Jill, really appreciates it. Please consider subscribing to this channel. It's free and makes you smarter.
Yes.
I stand by that. Is it just me, or did they just give Lincoln very dark makeup?
Yeah, the lighting was a little weird, but especially on his hands, it looked like they overdid the makeup. And especially when he's holding the spear the way he does, it's rather curious. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Show that again. I love. They ran. It's the
Yeah.
Kalis and Genghis show. Genghis spelled wrong, but that's okay. Franco Walker doing his please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat.
And so Commander Tal says the moral sort of slips by at the end here when Yarnak finally perceives that the evil side was motivated by power and Kirk's side was motivated by the lives of the crew. Yeah. And yeah, basically. Dies just like Judd Fry in Oklahoma. So Jill looks
yes.
like you can see under an electron microscope. What? I look like a what?
Judd Fry is dead. Yeah. Anyway.
Was the sand really a handful of rock creature?
No,
Ooh,
the sand was
cool
sand.
Idea.
Well, wait a minute.
That's a cool idea.
That's right. It's like how they could transmute matter and make a magic atmosphere so they could breathe, and so I think it is sand. So it's not a rock
good.
creature.
Booger got there first.
Oh, he did? The Reluctant Dragon says the LDS line got a lot of laughs here and there.
Wasn't that creature the inspiration for the thing on Galaxy Quest? You guys probably already talked about that, right?
Oh, yeah, we did mention it. I think somebody in the chat mentioned Grill.
Yeah,
Grognak.
very much so.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's pretty true. And it's also what William Shatner wanted for Star Trek V, but he couldn't afford his rock creature, unfortunately.
Paramount wouldn't give him the money after they saw the first set of dailies.
And hey, the Price of Reason is here. Hello. The Price of Reason does some Quantum Leap shows, and that's pretty good. And of course also has another channel.
I love his avatar.
Big shout out to Marky with a C, who gave me a recreation of the Ziggy Com link, which upon first receiving, I was like, this isn't as good as the original. But the more I play with it, the more I love it.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I'm just so happy you're here. And I think you're amazing and awesome. And I just
that makes two of us.
Oh, I'm sure there's more than two.
I know. That was my stars.
Hey, Scotty, you go blind.
It's always a fun review. Yes, I do have to go, and I hope everybody had a good time seeing our take on this episode. Next week we do have another episode. There are 2 left. We've got all our yesterdays and Turnabout Intruder. So that's it. Just 2 more to go. And I'm so glad you guys have all stuck around this whole time. Well, and
I've only been on a couple of these.
Oh, I know.
It's a bit late to the party, but
well, better late than never.
I won't ride on that wave of compliments.
Yeah, I wish I was here from the start. I wish I was here from the start.
Oh, I know.
So many first season episodes, but you can do them again, Jill.
Yeah, I could.
Well,
Jill,
you can also check out the reruns when it was.
Oh yeah, I have. But I'm not there to talk to you guys on the panel.
Yes, but the shows themselves are entertaining upon. Like Pop knows so much about the production. Jill is so passionate with the references. I offer color commentary, I suppose. But no, if you haven't seen all of the infinite diversity in infinite lunches. What is it called?
Infinite lunches and indefinite lunches and
Okay, so
infinite
here's what
combinations.
happened. It's in. Oh no, it's.
I've been on like
indefinite.
mostly all of them. I don't know the title of the show.
It's indefinite lunch and infinite combinations. So it means that
That's
the
what I
lunch
heard.
isn't guaranteed. And I actually used to call it definite lunch and infinite combinations, but Cardinal Sin would always type in that quote from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That time is, well, what's the quote? Time is relative, lunchtime doubly so.
I never got the hang of Thursdays, but it's a Tuesday.
So I fixed it. He helped me fix the title without even having to actually help me directly.
Jill, we have to sort out that Deep Space Nine interview with that guy.
Oh yeah, definitely figure out how we can talk to him. That would be
because
good.
I postponed it because I could tell the technicals with him were going to be a challenge.
Right.
I'm going to try and get somebody or get him.
Well, he's done interviews before, so there are there's a way.
Yeah, he has.
He had an interview with Johnny Carson. I watched it.
Yeah, so Dennis worked on most of Next Gen as well as DS9.
But I'm gonna be late if I don't go.
This is show notes.
But I am excited. I am excited about that show. Okay, right, exactly. So that's where we are.
I'll arrange it at a time when you can make it, Jill. Don't worry.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay.
Scotty R37, can you tell me what you're doing around on the internet and where we can find you?
No, for the sake of brevity, you're on a time limit. I'm done. Don't pay attention to me.
Phantasmagorium, Cinema Go, and my channel.
And also Scotty R37 on the Twitter. Whatever.
Yeah,
thank you. That was good. Fast.
Okay, and Jim?
Twitter again. Hey, we got a video dropping next Monday on the 8th, Solar Day, as I call it. And still working on fan films, trying to get it done. Got Repair 4 and 5. Need a couple extra videos, put them together, and we're good to go. Lawn mowing seasons are just going to be around the corner if it quits raining, so I might not be here next Tuesday because it might be mowing time. So that's all that's going on with me. Just keep watching Commodore Productions. You never know what you're going to see.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. And Pop Culture Curator, what are you doing tonight?
Tonight on our horror sci-fi stream, we will be covering the 2007 movie The Mist.
Oh,
tomorrow, Gorilla's Random Thoughts and myself will be doing 2 more episodes of season 3 of Gilligan's Island. Saturday night, we will be doing Rumblings from the Lab, which is open mic, open topic. Everybody's welcome. Everyone's invited. And then Monday, we'll be back with another classic episode of the original series of Lost in Space. But thank you for having me here, Jill. I really do appreciate it. It's very humbling, and it's a magnificent experience. I look forward to it every time.
Yes, I love to explore with you guys too. And Lance, the Outcast Creative, what's going on?
I'm on with my usual regular Tuesday show in 50 minutes. The Nielsen.
Oh, wow, so close.
Yeah, we do that. We just discuss whatever we've watched that week. We usually plug stuff we like. We've just done The Thing the Musical. That's on the channel where we interviewed the Muppet cast of The Thing the Musical. So if you want to see that, it's on the channel. It's hilarious. People loved it. And then coming up, I've got I've got an interview with Peter Hyams, who's the director of Capricorn 1. I'm just an Outland and Running Scared and a whole load of other movies. Time Cop. I'm just trying to nail down the date with him at the minute, but that should be pretty soon, I hope. So,
that's awesome. You always get such cool people to talk to. That's wonderful.
Oh, well, that's one of the pros and cons of working in the film industry.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Well,
and Stone Racket, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you?
No, that was it. That was it.
That was it.
In a rush. That was it.
Yeah, I am kind of in a rush. I do have to run.
I'm not a YouTuber. I am on Twitter, and I like hanging out with you, Jill, and Pop Culture Curator, talking about Star Trek and Lost in Space, respectively. And next week, where's Library?
Yeah, All right.
There are
Well, we
three
will talk-
Mr. Atos, 3 of them.
And as for me, Friday is First Contact Day, so we're going to talk about the Next Generation episode, First Contact. I mean, we ran out of TOS movies, so we got to do the TNG ones now, and that's a good place to start.
And tomorrow you have a member stream, don't you?
And tomorrow I have a member stream at noon Central, so yes, definitely.
High Noon,
Mm-hmm.
which is being released on 4K by Kino Lorber this month.
Oh, okay, and then. And then and then on Tuesday we'll have our next TOS episode, which is all our yesterdays. So I'm going to play a preview for that, and I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a lovely Tuesday and enjoyed our take on this episode.
And eat meat and enjoy it.
Well,
Thanks
unless
for
you're
having me on.
broken.
Thanks
You're
for having me on,
welcome.
Jill. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for
you're
having
welcome.
me.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye,
Take care.
guys.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Wait, I haven't prepared you. Defend yourself. There's the Morton accomplice. Arrest him. Beyond the law.
Jim, what's the matter? Jim!
Lord Elvis, what's that?
It's spirits. Do you know what it's like to be alone?
Yes.
You listen to me, you pointed-eared Vulcan.
I don't like that. I don't think I ever did, and now I'm sure.
He's a witch! He's a witch!
Has nothing to do with it. At least let me talk to you. There are witches.
Witch! Witch! Tanya!
Learn all that is learnable. And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
And I also wanted to play this one because I like it.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
There you
Yay.
I'll get you next time, get you.